Well, I've been saying it for a few games now, and I'll say it again. Go New York, go New York, go. Unbelievable dominance by the Knicks. Basically, since game 3 of the first round of these playoffs, the first round against the Atlanta Hawks, where they lost by 1 point, and they lost by 1 point in game 2. Since then, the Knicks have not lost a game. So tonight, a resounding dominant win on the road in Cleveland to take, obviously, a 3-0 lead, which means this series is all but over. It is just a formality. No team in NBA history has ever overcome a 0-3 deficit, which is now what the Cleveland Cavaliers are faced with. And the Knicks are potentially on the biggest run or the best run, or they are the hottest team we have ever seen in NBA history. They are playing with such control, such poise, such dominance now over the last 10 games since going down 2-1 to the Atlanta Hawks in the first series. They are beating the absolute brakes off of every team they see. They beat the Philadelphia 76ers 108-102 in game 2 of that series. That is the only game in this 10-game winning streak that has been by single digits. Even a game where the Cleveland Cavaliers were up by 22 points midway through the fourth quarter in game 1 of this series. Even in that game, the New York Knicks still won by double digits. They win overtime by 11. And now tonight, another double-digit cruising win for the New York Knicks, 121-108. And the Knicks just one win away. Wherever or whenever that win comes, it really doesn't matter because the Cavs are all but finished. I think as lifeless as they look tonight, as listless, as non-competitive as they appeared from the get-go, I would be stunned now if once they fall into an 0-3 hole, they feel like showing any semblance of effort in game 4 to stave off elimination. Why go through the formality of flying back to New York? Just stay at home, set your travel itineraries to whatever tropical island locale you want to head to for the offseason and just get it over with from Cleveland. Go from your home airport. Get a couple nights sleep at home, then go from your home airport. New York, meanwhile, will have about a week. Basically, if they end this series on whatever it is, the 25th, the NBA Finals doesn't start till the 3rd. There's 31 days in this month. They'll have over a week, like 9 days, 9 full days off if the New York Knicks end the Cleveland Cavaliers in a clean sweep, which it looks resoundingly likely that they will because, again, the Cavaliers just haven't been close. They have had no answers in the last 2 games since that dominating first 3-quarter run, or really just that dominating third and first half of the fourth quarter that they showed in game 1 of this series. The Knicks hit them with a 44-11 spurt to answer that run, though, in game 1, and they have never looked back. They really just snatched the Cavaliers' will and desire to compete in the course of that fourth quarter and overtime. The writing is on the wall, in my estimation. I said after game 2 that this was sweep city, and I do believe that the Cleveland Cavaliers will not be getting even a single win in this series. Now, nothing would dissuade me from saying that after tonight's game, a game in Cleveland where I believe the Cavs were 2.5-point favorites. But again, the Knicks open a 37-27 lead right off the bat in the first quarter. And look, the Cavs competed in the second quarter. I think it was a 6 or 7 point game, 6 or 7 point lead for the Knicks. But they came out, won the third quarter, and just cruise in the fourth quarter. Put it on cruise control again. 121-108 win. Go New York, go New York, go. Going back to the NBA Finals. I don't want to ever count my chickens until they hatch, but we can start popping the bubbly in Gotham City right now. Get the champagne on ice because your New York Knicks are heading back to the NBA Finals for the first time in 27 years. For the first time since the 50-game strike-shortened season in 1999, where the Knicks, as an 8th seed, went to the NBA Finals and took on the San Antonio Spurs, lost to a young up-and-coming Tim Duncan in what was ultimately his first of 5 NBA championships. The Knicks would never return, meanwhile, and the Knicks haven't won the NBA championship themselves since all the way back in 1973. There are two stars on this team. There are two primary team leaders, that being, of course, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. Well, they were 23 and 24 years respectively away from being born the last time the New York Knicks won an NBA championship. So they will have a look now. They will not be favored, not at all. They will be significant and substantial underdogs against whichever team comes out of the Western Conference. But the Knicks are on just a historical run right now. This 13-point win actually lowers their net margin of differential for this postseason, which was 18.4 coming into the game tonight. So a 13-point win actually lowers that margin output for the Knicks. That's how damn good this team is. Just, again, another full team effort. Six players in double digits tonight for the New York Knicks, led by Jalen Brunson, of course. Jalen Brunson, who seems to always lead them in that capacity. 30 points per game for him, 10 of 19. Everybody in the starting lineup in double digits. Everyone but Josh Hart was a +3. Everybody else, easy double-digit plus on the plus-minus scale for them. Karl-Anthony Towns, 13 points. OG Anunoby was terrific again tonight, 21 points, 6 of 10. Mikal Bridges, 22 points, 11 of 15, a +19 for him. And then Landry Shamet getting into the action off of the bench, 28 minutes, 14 points, 4 of 5 from the three-point line, and a +5 from him. I mentioned last game how light this team is, relatively speaking, on the bench, especially compared to their now presumptive favorite. You would think the Oklahoma City Thunder. But they seem to get just enough from somebody on the bench. Tonight, it was Shamet in 28 minutes and 14 big points for him. And the starting lineup is really as good as any starting lineup, I think, at this point, you can say, in the NBA. On the other end of things, for the poor old Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland, this is for you. Yeah, they're not going to have any of those moments coming forward, not at least this year. James Harden, look, we've been following Little Game James. We've had the Jim Larden tracker throughout these NBA playoffs. 19 points for him, 8 of 15. Not terrible. Only a -8, also not terrible. He did have the 6 turnovers, led the team in that regard. But like I said, not the worst in terms of plus-minus. Donovan Mitchell leading his team, and he's done this a couple times in recent games. Donovan Mitchell with a team worst, a game worst, -22 in 38 minutes, 23 points, 9 of 21 for him. Evan Mobley, -21 for him, 24 points, though, 10 of 18 from the field for him. And Max Strus off the bench, decent, 13 points, but only 4 of 11 shooting from the three-point line. And the Cavs, they're finished. Just, like I said, get the travel itinerary queued up. Figure out where you want to head this offseason, guys. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for nothing, actually, in this series. Again, just lackluster performance tonight. No real desire to compete or contend in this one. And again, I would be absolutely shocked if the Knicks do not come out and sweep their asses in Game 4. Shocked. In fact, I could see this game being like a 30-35. I don't know how much the final, differential will be in Game 4, but I could see the Knicks being up by as many as 30-some points at some point in that game. I'll be shocked if the Cavs come out with any semblance of character or effort in that one after tonight. They look like a team that is just beat down and that is ready to give up, and I think they will do just that in Game 4, which means keep the champagne on ice, because the New York Knicks will be heading back to the NBA Finals. And they will be awaiting the winner of the Western Conference Finals series, which is underway. It will be Game 4 tomorrow, a huge game in San Antonio. Obviously, the Knicks will be rooting for the Spurs, not just because they seemingly match up better against the Spurs than they do the Oklahoma City Thunder, but also because a longer series is always better for the team that's waiting. Just prolong and extend that thing. See how many more injuries both of those teams might be able to accrue with each additional game that series has to go. Speaking of which, Jalen Williams, who is already out for the Oklahoma City Thunder, I haven't seen word, I should say, on his availability for tomorrow's game. My estimation is he'll be a game time decision. AJ Mitchell has already been ruled out. So AJ Mitchell has been filling in the starting lineup for Jalen Williams in the games that he has missed. He started the 4 games against the Lakers, and then he started last game with Jalen Williams out, and AJ Mitchell now is also out. So no word on the Spurs injury front either, other than I see that it is expected that De'Aaron Fox will play, and I will assume that Harper will also play in what amounts to a must-win game for the San Antonio Spurs, a game that I said the New York Knicks will definitely be rooting for the Spurs, along with most of the rest of the country as well. So that's where we're at. We can talk about really anything you guys want to get into. We can talk about the game tonight. We can talk about the game. We can work on tomorrow's game. So whatever it is that you guys want to discuss, we can do. I'm going to try to keep it a little bit on the shorter side tonight because my voice is going in and out. I don't know if it's coming across at all or not, but my voice is sketchy. I am very tired from all of my travels and my various Skap After Dark live shows with you guys and my appearances with Whitlock. So it's all catching up to me. I want to be nice and fresh for that big game for tomorrow. So I would like to get some bit of sleep in at some point tonight, hopefully. So maybe a shorter night. It is Saturday. Welcome into all of you. A Saturday night, still an early night though, 11 o'clock where I'm coming to you guys from. Thank you guys for spending and tuning in here with us and spending your Saturday night with us in the Skap Live After Dark area. Of course, the waters are always warm and welcoming. So thank you guys as always for being here. And thank you, moderator Gary, and welcome into you, sir. Gary, thank you as always for being here. Not a real exhilarating game, unfortunately, for us and for our purposes in this Knicks-Cavs series. It looks like the Cavs are ready to just lay down and die, Gary.
Yeah, I'm so annoyed right now. I expected the Knicks to win the series, but I really did think the Cavs were going to win this game and make this a compelling series. It's so lackluster. The Cavs look like they have no life. I really wish Detroit had not become complacent at the end of game 5, I think it was, when they were up 9 with 3 minutes to go, then gagged that game away, because we would have Detroit and New York, which I think would be at least a 6-game series, possibly 7. I do think the Knicks would win either way, but at the same time, it would be a very interesting series because it makes these live streams so much more fun when we're in the midst of a close, compelling series. I'm so tired of James Harden. I'm about to have my own scat rant here on James Harden. It's like, how does he underperform this severely time in and time out? Whitlock finally had a good take the other day, because it's very rare when it comes to sports for Whitlock to actually have a good take. But he said it. He said in the playoffs, there's a second gear. The playoffs get more intense. Harden's great in the regular season, but come playoff time, he only has one gear. That is precisely it. He doesn't go into a second gear in the playoffs. He just playing like it's the regular season.
But Gary, did you hear his take that line was wrapped within, which was he was saying that Harden was better than both Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant.
Right. But he repented by you and Dre convinced him. He actually repented by the end of it. So props to Whitlock for admitting he was wrong. I don't even think he really strongly believed it in the first place. I think he's like, what kind of hot take can I put on the thumbnail to draw? Oh, I know. I'll say Harden's better than Durant and Westbrook. So you and Dre, led him to the light, so to speak, by the end of that conversation. That was a very good, productive segment, because I usually get annoyed by Whitlock's terrible takes, which I was at the beginning, but by the end of it, I was like, thumbs up to Whitlock for admitting the error of his ways.
Now, look, the Cavs, not good right now, obviously. I think their effort has been porous, but the Knicks really are on a roll. So I keep saying they lost by 1 point in game 2 and 3 to the Hawks. That Gary, that was on April 20th and April 23rd. So they lost.
Right.
They lost. Last game they've lost. They lost was a month ago exactly. Basically, like it's May 23rd. The last game they lost was on April 23rd, 109-108. They lost 107-106 3 days earlier on April 20th. Since then, these are the scores of their games over this 10-game winning streak. Bear with me. 114-98, 126-97, 140-89, 137-98. So they closed the Hawks out in game 6 by a score of 140-89. Then they open up in game 1 against the Philadelphia 76ers, 137-98. Then that aforementioned under 10-point outcome that they had in game 2, 108-102 to Philly in game 2. Then 108-94, 144-114 in the closeout. Then to start this series, 115-104, 109-93, 121-108. They are killing these teams, killing them. And I know, look, I know it's the East. I know they're not playing the Thunder or the Spurs, obviously. But look, the Spurs, the Thunder, who did they really play? They played the Suns, then the Lakers with no Luka and no Austin Reeves for 2 of the games. Or so
Right.
like one of the games or whatever. Some of the series. So like, who did the Thunder really play? They're not beating teams like this. I mean, they won 8 straight, and then they lost the one to the Spurs, and now they've won 2 straight. So they're 11 or 10-1 in the playoffs right now. But their differential doesn't look like this. Like the Knicks are absolutely dismantling these teams. I don't know. I feel like it really doesn't look. You see it in hockey, baseball, and football, honestly. I'm a student of all of these sports, and mainly in the playoffs. I only watch basketball and football in the regular seasons, but I watch all of the playoffs for all 4 major professional North American sports. And there's something to it in football, in baseball, and in hockey, like a hot team. A team just gets hot at the right moment. They're clicking on all cylinders. Either their bats are really coming to life at the right time, or their bullpen or their starting pitching is lights out, or a goalie is standing on his head, or a football team just hits their right stride at the right point in the season. Like, you see hot teams that aren't the best team, right, that can win those sports. You typically never see that in the NBA. Like, the best team just wins mostly, barring injuries or whatever, or just flat out chokes. The best team predominantly always wins in the NBA. Like, it's just hard. Like in basketball and in a best of 7, it's difficult to overcome like overwhelming advantages. But if ever I've seen a case, and it's hard because the East and the Western conferences are so different, but if ever I've seen a case where, look, the Spurs and the Thunder are just flat better than the Knicks, but the Knicks are just so hot. They're on such a ridiculous, historic roll right now that if ever I've seen a moment in NBA in all my life of watching, in like 30 years, where I think that just a hot team that is gelled perfectly at the right moment can just ride this wave of momentum and energy to upsetting a significantly better team, like, I feel like this is the time. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think, am I crazy here, Gary?
Definitely not crazy. You're not saying the Knicks will win. What you're trying to do is you're looking now, you're like, okay, the Knicks are in the finals. It looks like OKC is going to be in there. Can I find a silver lining here? Let me see. If I break this down enough, do the Knicks have a chance? Well, they've got a higher winning margin in their playoffs. The Thunder haven't played anyone. So, no, you're definitely not crazy. I remember in 1990, when I was a kid, I sound like back in my day, but I remember when the Cincinnati Reds upset the Oakland Athletics. They swept them in 1990 World Series. As a kid, I was shocked by that because the A's had just swept the Giants the previous year. And the Bash brothers, McGuire and Canseco, that were so marketable And I just assumed they're going to railroad the Reds and win in like 4, maybe 5. It was Chris Sabo, Eric Davis. I want to say Rob Dibble, if he was there at that time, I think he was. And the Reds just kicked the crap out of the A's. So you never know, because, I mean, this would be kind of like that. You never know, but of course, I'm sure OKC will win just because they're so deep. But if anybody can in the East can give them a series, it's the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, we can all only hope. But yeah, the Knicks, I mean, I feel like they've been getting closer and closer each postseason run over the last couple years, and I just feel like all of the pieces have come together at this point. They're all playing really good basketball. I don't know. I'm starting to get that feel for the New York Knicks. But like you said, it's difficult because against Oklahoma City, you have to play perfect all the time. You can't ever have a lapse or a letdown for 4, not all the time, but 4 times out of 7. You can't have a single, like if you let down for 5 minutes of game time, it's over. Like they could hit you with like a 17-0 run in like 3 or 4 minutes. If you just have just like one quick lapse or one bad rotation point or one like couple minutes of like your bench didn't like hold the line properly, I mean, it's over in the blink of an eye. So, and it's hard to maintain that level of focus and excellence for you for 48 minutes for 4 games. It really is. So it's not going to be easy, but I don't think it's going to be an absolute beatdown that everybody's probably going to expect it to be if it's Thunder Knicks. I'm hoping not, because not only would I want the Knicks to win, I would just like to see a compelling, interesting series. Like last year, I never at one point felt like the Pacers had any chance to win that series, but they made it interesting. Like they took them
Definitely.
7. So, and they won, they hit the buzzer beater. Halliburton hit that buzzer beater in game 1. And from that point on, it was always kind of like the Pacers were in it. Like, even though they weren't, you know what I'm talking about. Me and you were together on that one. Like, we never thought that the Thunder were going to lose that series, but it got to 7. So look, we can only be so lucky and hope that the Knicks could maybe do the same thing this year. And who knows, like the Thunder, they seem even deeper now than last year, but they are dealing with injuries now. Like AJ Mitchell and Jalen Williams, like that's like a substantial blow if like both of those guys are going to be compromised. Like I don't know exactly what the AJ, like I didn't even hear AJ Mitchell was dealing with anything.
In game 2 he had a quad bruise.
And well, this is a calf strain.
A calf strain? I thought it was a quad.
A
calf strain.
Officially.
Okay, he was dealing with a quad bruise in game 2. I thought he went to the locker room momentarily. So I thought it was, okay, this is a calf strain. That's different, and this is actually much more serious.
Exactly.
Because that's the step before, the ultimate injury that we don't wish upon anyone.
Exactly. And it said initially, there's some weird, Gary, let me just say this. There are some weird ass injury designations going on right now. Like I heard like the morning after the Spurs Thunder game, on ESPN's main page, it said Spurs lose Dylan Harper to hamstring injury, MRI pending today. And then he was designated with an adductor injury, a hip injury.
Right.
So like they changed that completely. And then you said, it was like, I thought it was a quad or something for AJ Mitchell. Then 4 or 5 hours ago, it said undisclosed injury. And now the official diagnosis on their injury report is a calf strain. So there is some bizarre injury diagnoses and stuff going on right now. But you're right. If a calf strain is not good, because a young player who is making only $2 million a year is likely not going to risk chancing a Achilles rupture when he's, in his rookie contract and hasn't made really any money yet of note. So I could absolutely see him, if it really is a calf strain, like I could see him sitting out more than less games now moving forward. So If Mitchell and Williams are really, really impacted from an injury standpoint into the next round, if they get by the Spurs and then into the finals, like those would be pretty big. I know they're deep, and they seem even deeper and more impossibly loaded now than they were last year. But those would be two really big rotational pieces that would I think that would actually hurt them maybe in a series against the Knicks. But all we can do is wait and see. The thing is also, if the Spurs keep giving it to them or keep them in a tight series and elongate the series, the chances are that they might pick up more injuries, or those guys will have to force themselves to play on. Like, because if they just win tomorrow, they'll keep those guys out. If they then they close out and then they can rest 9 days. But if the Spurs beat them tomorrow, then it's a best of 3. Now those guys all of a sudden have to press themselves, come back at less than 100 in game 5 and risk worsening those injuries. So it's really it's on the Spurs to somewhat still, even if they're not going to win the series outright, to help us all out, to help the country out, and to make those guys play on those injuries and maybe weaken them more for the Knicks to have a chance in the finals.
Yes, and the Spurs are sponges right now. They are gaining so much valuable experience in every game. So the most games they can go, the most they can pick it up. And if they win tomorrow, they do have I'm not ruling them out. They do have a chance to even take this series. I don't think they will, but I'm not ruling them out,
Well, you'd have a best of 3. So it's just who can win 2 games in the final 3. And the Spurs, look, the Thunder have the better team, the better depth, but the Spurs have the best player. So it's like you've got a chance. When you've got the best player in the NBA, you've always got a chance. To quote one of your favorite movies, Gary, so you're saying there's a chance. Not one of mine, but I know the line. All right. Well, Gary, we are at the 30-minute mark here of the show tonight on a Saturday night, still before midnight. So what do you say we hit some comments and see what direction you guys want to go with it? We'll go first to George Costanza, the Human Fund CEO. Gary, what does Costanza have for us tonight?
Will a flop be discouraged to join the Cavs now? New York.
I don't know. I think he would be more likely to, actually, because I feel like he can't, with his vast history of mercenary play and team building and roster stacking, I feel like he can't go and jump to a team that is in the NBA Finals the year before. I feel like that would be bad form, and he's already done too much of it, and he already gets too much criticism for it. So I feel as if he would be more likely to go to the Cavs. Like if the Cavs went to the NBA Finals and lost, I feel like he would be less likely to go there. Now, if the Cavs get humiliatingly dusted out of the playoffs in a clean sweep, and not a completely non-competitive sweep too, I feel like he might be more likely than not less to go there. And then he could say again, Cleveland, this is for you. Even though I don't see them winning anything of note next year if he does go there. And it will be very interesting to see what they do with little game James Harden. You can't have 2 James choke artists in the playoffs on one team, can you? LeBron James and James Harden, little game James and King James, 2 of the great playoff gag artists we've seen in this century. You can't have both of them on one team, can you? I at least I don't think so, but we'll see. We'll see. I still believe. If you guys didn't see it, I put a video out. It's not that long. It's about 8.5 minutes. And it's unpacking some comments from LeBron on his Mind the Game podcast that I mentioned on last night's show. He mentioned some insight into what he's thinking for the offseason, which is to say he sounds like he's playing, but he said that it's going to be till probably July, sometime beginning around the beginning to mid of July, that he will start really starting to make his actual decision. So that is still, a solid month and a half to maybe almost 2 months out but I think we might get some word from sources close to the situation or from LeBron's camp before that time, indicating in what direction he's leaning. I think he's leaning towards returning to the LA Lakers, but there are things breaking now that he is. We're hearing conflicting information. Initially, we heard that he would be willing to take the vet minimum. Now we hear he's not really willing to take that much of a pay cut at all. I think the Lakers would be looking somewhere in the ballpark of 20 to 25 million annually for him. If he takes less, even better. But I'd say they would be willing to re-sign him around 20 to 25 million. He's making 55 million, or he made 55 million this year. So that would be a massive haircut, massive pay cut for LeBron. Can his ego take it? Will he accept such a cut, or is he taking his talent somewhere else? Back to Cleveland maybe, or perhaps to New York? I don't think so, because the Knicks are going to win at least one game in the NBA Finals. I think at least two, and maybe have an outside chance to shock the world. But if they're competitive in that NBA Finals series, I don't think LeBron can justify doing that. All right, the Incorruptible is in next. Welcome in, Incorruptible. Thank you so much for being here, as always, every single night. I know I can count on you no matter what. I appreciate it. Gary, what is the question or comment from the Incorruptible tonight?
Brunson said, 1, I'm not a star. 2, I want to win. Cleveland looking like they don't want to be on the court, and New York Knicks looking like they belong in the West.
The Knicks, I'm telling you, they are on one. The West is better, but it's not like even this, like the Spurs. Like the Spurs beat the Trailblazers, who are still a year away at least and pieces away from being a competitive team. In the first round, again, the Suns is who the Thunder got and beat. Then the second round matchups. Look, the Lakers were nothing special with a hobbled, pseudo-injured still Austin Reeves and no Luka Doncic and a 41-year-old LeBron James. That was no special opponent for the Thunder. And then the Timberwolves, yeah, they beat the Nuggets' ass. So what? The Nuggets are a ridiculously flawed, lousy team. It was a Minnesota Timberwolves team that was without their starting point guard, Dante DiVincenzo. Ayo Dosunmu was, I don't think, completely right. He missed a game or two as well. And Anthony Edwards, who knows what he was doing? He had a terrible, lousy series. Maybe you want to give him the excuse of being hurt, potentially. So, I mean, it's not like people talk about, oh, the West so much harder. And yes, the Thunder are now playing the Spurs. Now those two teams have difficult oppositions in each other. But in terms of saying, oh, well, who have the Knicks beaten? Well, teams that are pretty much just as good as the teams that those guys in the West right now have beaten. In fact, the Hawks were a really good team to end the season. Really good. The Hawks had the 4th best net rating in the NBA from the All-Star break on, and they were 20-6 post All-Star break. That was the 3rd best record in the NBA behind only the Thunder and the Spurs, who had 4 losses over that span of time. So the Hawks were an elite team coming into the playoffs. Very hot. Arguably the hottest team in the league. And the Knicks lost 2 games early in the series by 1 point each and then blew them to pieces in the 3 games that would follow. And they have not looked back since. So I think the Knicks are being slept on right now. I think they're under the radar. I think the Knicks are going to put up a much better fight against either of these Western Conference teams come NBA Finals time. So I am with you, Incorruptible. The Knicks are looking good, and they are looking like a team that has been together for a couple years now, that like playing with one another, that know how to play off of and with each other, that believe in each other and believe that they could do something special this year in New York. And I'm starting to believe too. They're starting to make me believe as well, damn it. So I'm going to just hope that my bubble doesn't get burst in about 9 days or so, whenever game, or 10 days, whenever I think it's more like right now, it's like 13 days, 12 or 13 days away. I think there's like 9 days left in this month, and it's the 3rd. So yeah, like 12 days. So they're going to have like 10 or 11 days off if they sweep this series. And then they'll just be able to rest and stay right and watch and see what happens in the West. I'm saying, to quote Gary's movie, I'm saying there's a chance. All right, we got Wolfsbane in next. Welcome into you, Wolfsbane. Again, thank you so much. Another reg for being here. I appreciate it. Gary, what is the question or comment from Wolfsbane tonight?
Slightly off topic, but what were those jerseys in game one? Black and orange for Knicks and white on red for Cavs. I keep getting confused.
Yeah, there's like, I think each team has like 17 different jersey variants. There's all these different variations and then throwbacks and retros and yada, yada, yada. So yeah, I'm with you. I wish, by and large, I just wish teams would stay with their elemental jersey selections, though some of the retros or the alternatives, the ones I like. I like the Spurs tropical thing they do sometimes. I like that old school, like kind of 80s, early mid 90s thing that they do. I like that. And back when I was a Lakers fan, when the late great Kobe Bryant was still ruling the earth in the NBA, I like those powder blues. I really like those baby blues with that like cursive Los Angeles thing. And I liked when I kind of liked when they would wear the blacks sometimes as well. But by and large, I'm with you. I get confused as well. I'm like, wait, which team is this? Which team has the ball again now? And I don't know. I just like consistency. I'm a creature of habit ultimately. So I am with you, Wolfsbane. All right. Stump 4522 is in next. Welcome into you, Stump, tonight. Thank you so much for rejoining us again tonight, as you always do as well. Gary, what does Stump have for us?
This is Donovan Mitchell City now.
Well, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, look, I think he's a beloved character in Cleveland, rightfully so, because he wanted to be there. You know, like even their son, their favored son before, or their hometown boy, LeBron James, like he wanted to get the hell out of Cleveland twice. So he stabbed him in the back the one time, and then he did it again to go back to LA. Go to LA. So not even a guy that was born and raised around the area that was drafted by that team wants to be there or wanted to spend time there ultimately. So a fact that a high caliber or like a high profile elite NBA player, and you can debate the veracity of that statement for sure, or the merits of it. Like, how good is Donovan Mitchell? Like Gary and I have kind of discussed that back and gone back and forth on it. I mean, whether he's whatever, he was first team All NBA last year. So technically you would think he's in the range of top 5 player in the NBA last year. But no, I don't think anyone realistically thinks year in and year out Donovan Mitchell is a top 5 player. You know, he might have had one outlier year. I think he's a second tier type player. I think he's around 10 to 12 or 15. But even still, even though he's not like a top 5 player, the fact that a top, maybe fringe top 10 player chose Cleveland and wanted to be there, I think Donovan Mitchell will be a beloved figure in Cleveland, regardless of which way it goes the remainder of his career. Obviously, they're finished this year. We'll see what they decide to do in the offseason, what directions they go. If they want to retain James Harden, if maybe LeBron James considers going there too. If there's other things or other pieces they want to consider adding or building on in the offseason, we'll have to wait and see. But look, they lost in the second round last year. They took a step up this year, and they're in the Eastern Conference Finals, but they look far away from competing in this round, at least against this team, the New York Knicks, because they have thoroughly outclassed the Cavaliers to this point.
I want you to take it. Can you take a minute to break down James Harden's options here? I'm seeing his contract status. He is expected to decide whether to opt into his current deal or restructure / extend his contract to remain with the Cavaliers in free agency. I would love to see him get off there, because if they could bring in another piece, last year, if they didn't get injured, I think they would have made some noise in the playoffs. I like the base of the team. I feel like Harden has set them back. I don't know why. I would have rather just kept Darius Garland, to be honest. If they had Garland right now, maybe this would be a series. What are the and if Harden's gone, I think that opens the door for LeBron to come back on a sweet deal. obviously LeBron James can't coexist with James Harden. But if Harden's gone and you put LeBron on there, maybe get another piece, maybe there's something there, assuming LeBron would play limited minutes.
Yeah, I think the expectation, Gary, absolutely going into the trade deadline when they pulled the trigger on this deal, I think that the expectation 100% for organization was to extend James Harden in this summer. And James Harden obviously demanded a trade from the Clippers because he wanted an extension and more money and more guaranteed money for longer time. And the Clippers were uncertain or unwilling to give that to him. So the fact that he essentially handpicked the Cavaliers, my expectation is he had a conversation already with them prior to approving or accepting that deal, and that both these parties were working and moving in the direction of the fact that they were going to get a deal done in the offseason together and extend him probably for like 2 years and like $80 million or something like that this summer would be what I would think was the conversation at the time that the trade was going to be executed. So now
and that makes total sense. You're probably right. But if they get swept like it looks like they are, at the best they might win game 4 and then get the brakes beat off of them game 5. That's, you know what? I think they probably will eke out game. I can't see New York playing with a whole, you know what though? Jalen Brunson is a dog. Jalen Brunson probably is saying, I don't want to go to 5. So maybe he single-handedly runs by them. But there's a strong chance the Cavs win game 4 and then get annihilated game 5 at the Garden. So with that in mind, the Cavs also, when signing or trading for Harden, probably thought they had a real shot to go far in the playoffs. And had they competed with the Knicks and stretched it to 6 or 7 games in a compelling series, then maybe they're like, let's bring Harden back. But if they get embarrassed like they likely will, then maybe they change their minds because they're like, you know what? This guy really is not what we were hoping he was going to be in the playoffs. What the heck is going to change next year? Nothing. You're going to be in the same boat. You're not going to get any better. So why not try to get him out and bring in another piece? Because really, Donovan Mitchell, I would just like to put everything on his back and let the responsibility fall squarely on him. Let's give him the opportunity. If you put the right pieces around Donovan Mitchell, I believe he's capable of rising to the occasion. But when you're splitting so much ball-dominant players like this, with someone with the track record of James Harden and all of his colossal choke jobs, it's not going to work. It's going to clash. They just need another piece to help Donovan Mitchell, I think, and replace James Harden. And if you get rid of Harden, I think LeBron can contribute still. Just don't try to play him 30, 35 minutes every game. Play him 20 minutes a game throughout the season. They can get through the East and take a 4 seed, LeBron playing minimal minutes, and then throughout the playoffs ramp up his minutes and let him go wild. I still think that this guy can still play in spurts, not over the course of a long stretch of time, but in spurts. LeBron can still give it to you, even though he'll be 42 next year. Not glazing LeBron. I'm just trying to think from the Cavs' perspective here, and I still. How the hell did they not realize? What do they think James Harden is going to do? You're going to be a pumpkin in the playoffs. You're not going to be Cinderella. The clock is struck midnight on James Harden every year in the playoffs. So what the heck was Jason Whitlock even talking about with that terrible take about they would have won in 2018? No, they wouldn't have. So I'm just so frustrated that we're here. We're stuck in his lackluster series, and we're all bored right now. Saturday night, we should be, man, great series going on, the Eastern Conference Finals. Man, that game was lit. Man, let's talk about it. No, we're all like let's go to bed in an hour.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, Gary, and you do bring up some good points in terms of maybe the plan changes, right? Like, because I guarantee James Harden, when he was like to the Clippers organization, hey, I want more money. I just want the money. Like, I always love to quote Morgan Freeman in the movie Hard Rain, or Jerry Maguire. I guess it's actually Rod Tidwell. Harden just yelling, "Show me the money." But I would imagine that the Clippers would say during the conversations during trade deadline, okay, Jim, we will show you the money in the summer. Also, they gave away Darius Garland. They had Garland on the books for 2 full years still after this year. So the fact that they gave up a good young asset leads me to believe that that wasn't just for a 3-month rental, right? So, but maybe plans change. Maybe you get into the course of the playoffs, and this is a deep playoff run ultimately. I mean, you get to a conference finals, that does constitute a deep playoff run. But if you get swept in the Eastern Conference finals, like I said about LeBron, because he got out of the first round but didn't win a game in the second round, the old adage is, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? So if you like I said about LeBron when they got swept in the second round, if you get to the second round but you don't win a single game in it, did you really get to the second round? So they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, which again would constitute a deep playoff run. But if you don't win a game and you lose, they very well can lose every game by double digits. Like, how really competitive are you, or how close are you? So maybe that changes. And maybe, Gary, maybe they have to have a conversation with LeBron James. Maybe they call LeBron and say, "Yo, King, what do you think? You want to come home? You want to end it? You want to end the chapter here? You want to write the final chapter and end the circle here in Cleveland?" And if he says no, then maybe they just stick to plan A with Harden. But if he says yes, maybe they say, "Well, James, thanks, but no thanks. We're going to go in this other direction and give whatever we're going to pay you to LeBron." So I feel like it's probably going to be a if this, then that situation for Cleveland this summer. It will be interesting to see LeBron James. The thing is, for the first time in LeBron James's entire career, probably, this July will not hinge on him. The reason he says mid-July or late July in that conversation with Steve Nash on Mind the Game is likely because he needs to see the other dominoes first. There's other pieces that are going to make the decisions. And in this instance, one of the dominoes that has to fall is, what do the Lakers want to do? What are they going to do on their books? What do they want to pursue in free agency? Do they even want LeBron back? So I think that domino has to fall first before LeBron then can decide what he's going to do. So maybe Cleveland is like an option B for him, but he can't really let them know his intent or willingness until the Lakers decide what they're doing with their free agent dollars. So it's going to be, there's a couple different things that have to happen. Obviously, the biggest piece in this summer, for me, I'm going to be watching Jamal Murray's potential movement. But of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the main piece that everybody's going to be watching all around the league to determine, like, where is that guy going? And what is he doing? What is the team that gets him doing? And then kind of the other pieces will fill in then around that. But I think the plan at the time of the deadline certainly was to bring Harden back for probably 2 more years after this season. But now you're right. Like, if they get humiliated and waxed out of the playoffs, maybe that plan changes. And specifically, if LeBron James in particular wants to consider coming in and taking his talents back to Believeland. Okay, let's see here. Next in is Seahawk Tua. What is up, Seahawk Tua? Thanks for coming in, and thank you for the question. Gary, what is the question?
Who's your sports Mount Rushmore of playoff chokers? So right off the bat, let's not disrespect our king. LeBron is at the top of that. You are the GOAT choker, LeBron. We will give you that.
I think I got to put both James boys on the list in my estimation. LeBron James, King James, and Little Game James Harden. I think both of them go on my Mount Rushmore. So that is two of the four of the all-timers in terms of playoff chokers or just chokers in general. The next guy, these next two guys, honestly, it hurts me. It hurts me more than anything to put these guys on. But I feel like they just got to go because I like both these guys. I'm actually a fan of each. So one of these guys is not only a hometown boy that grew up, born and raised in my city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but went to my same high school. I went to a small and a very old, all boys Catholic preparatory, college preparatory school called Central Catholic in Oakland, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which is where Dan Marino went. And then from Central Catholic, now Dan Marino is many years older than me, but from Central Catholic, he went to the University of Pittsburgh. And then if the idiot Steelers would have just drafted Dan Marino, I think in 83, they still had Terry Bradshaw at that time. But Terry Bradshaw had an elbow injury, and the writing seemed to be on the wall that Bradshaw was done. So they could have drafted the hometown boy, Danny Marino. Instead, there was some allegations of drug use in college swirling around Danny coming out of the draft, some character issues. So he slipped in that draft, fell to the Miami Dolphins. The rest, as they say, is history. The Steelers didn't find a quarterback again until Big Ben Roethlisberger, like 2 decades later. And then, of course, Dan Marino went on famously to play his whole career in Miami, where I'm sorry, but yes, he is a GOAT. He is a Mount Rushmore choker in my estimation. He went to the Super Bowl in his second year in the NFL, and it looked like he had maybe one of the most live arms ever. Some of the greatest arm talent you have ever seen. For all of you, any of you youths out there, that's a my cousin Vinny reference. For any of you youths on the stream right now with us, Dan Marino's arm talent was maybe like nothing else you've ever seen. Like I would say maybe in my lifetime, Danny Marino, John Elway, and Aaron Rodgers, probably the most arm talent I've ever seen in my life. And the fact that Dan Marino went to only that one Super Bowl and never went back, didn't win that one that he went to, and his postseason career in a long and decorated career in the NFL, 8-10. So 2 games under 500 in the playoffs. It pains me to put a fellow high school alma mater, even though I hated my high school years. I refer to my 4 years in high school as the worst 4 years of my life. But anyway, it pains me to put a hometown boy on the mount. And then the other guy that I really like, I'm not a big golf fan, but I do watch a lot of the majors, and I really like Rory McIlroy. I like his character and class with turning down the live offer, and I like him as a player. But the guy, like, he is just an epic choker. I mean, I was watching one Master. I don't know if it was the Masters. I was watching a major. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. He had like a 3 or 4. I swear it was like a 3 or 4 shot lead with 2 holes to go and completely crapped in his pants. It was difficult for me to watch. So I feel like I've got to put, unfortunately, Rory on my Mount Rushmore as well. So it would be Marino, Rory, King James, and Little Game James. Gary wants to interject. Gary, go ahead. Who's on your mount?
Well, no, I'm thinking take Marino off and replace him with someone current that I'm shocked that you're not thinking about. Do you not know? Is it not ringing a bell?
I hope you don't say Josh Allen. Okay, because I do not classify Josh Allen as a choker. Lamar Jackson. Okay, yeah. I mean, he gets consideration for sure. 3 and 5.
You would say Marino's is more of a choker than Lamar?
I mean, look, Lamar. Okay, let me say this. Look, I can't believe I'm going to defend Lamar a little bit here because Lamar is one. To me, he is the most overrated football player of all time right now. He's got 2 league MVPs. It was damn close to 3. He's under 30, and he's 3-5 in the playoffs in 8 career games. The one thing I'll say though is Peyton Manning had a very similar playoff resume to Lamar Jackson year for year. And Peyton Manning did turn it around in a major way. I think Peyton ultimately ended 14-13 in his postseason career, went to 4 Super Bowls, won 2 of them, and won 3 more league MVPs after. Because Peyton was like, he had won 2 MVPs, and I love Peyton Manning. Peyton won 2 league MVPs and was like 4-5 in the playoffs. So very similar to Lamar. Maybe Lamar turns around, but I doubt it because his game is so predicated on athleticism and he's now getting older and you see his athleticism waning. Whereas Peyton Manning's game was cerebral and predicated on intelligence and dissecting defenses
and precision
and player movement to get that to bend the defense to his own whim. So I doubt that Lamar Jackson's game is going to age as gracefully as Peyton Manning's did. So I don't think Lamar will have a second act like Peyton Manning. And if he doesn't, 2 league MVPs, 3-5 in the playoffs. If he ends his career under 500 in the playoffs and never gets to a Super Bowl, he would certainly go above Dan Marino for sure. And maybe even now we can put him above Dan Marino, but Danny at least gets an honorable mention, unfortunately, because I really do love Dan Marino. But 8-10 in the playoffs is not good. It's just not good. Is there anybody else you want to put up for consideration, Gary, on your all-time choke Rushmore?
You know what? No one coming off the top of my. I know there are some that are not coming. It looks like tonight maybe a shorter show, so if maybe I'll revisit this towards the end if we end up going very short tonight.
All right, sounds fair. We've got Miguel 95 is in next with no question. Oh wait, he's got one down here. So let's jump to his question. Miguel, thank you very much for your generosity and support of us here in the live stream. Skap After Dark really does appreciate you guys. Gary, what does Miguel have, question or comment for us tonight?
Cleveland has a shot with a garbage pail guarding Brunson. Harden is a complete crap.
Anytime it's not even just Brunson. Like they're hunting Harden right now on defense. Like it's like I'm watching. I'm waiting for like a Scooby-Doo reveal. Gary, did you watch the Scooby-Doo cartoons when you were little? Are you familiar with them? Where they they pull the mask off and reveal some like whoever the town like innkeeper or whatever is really the criminal or the.
And I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you pesky kids.
Right. I keep waiting for them to rip the mask off of James Harden and it's Jamal Murray, because I haven't seen like the way the Timberwolves were hunting Jamal Murray on defense down the stretch of every single game in that series basically is very reminiscent to what I'm seeing with the Knicks in this series and what they're doing to little game James Harden. He's just on skates. They could just wheel out a cardboard cutout of James Harden at this point, and he would be as effective defending these Knicks as the actual James Harden is, or Jamal Murray in disguise, whichever. And you know what? Jamal Murray would get some consideration on my playoff Mount Rushmore too of chokes. Now, Jamal Murray was elite in that 2023, and he was an anti-choker in that run. But the last 3 playoff runs since that finals, or that playoff run for Jamal Murray, has been hard to watch, and he is terrible at defense. He still doesn't live up to the James boys in terms of their chokes. But
he was elite. He was elite in the opening round of 2024 against LA. As you remember that video I made of him making 2 clutch shots to close out that series. And then after that, then the next round's of Timberwolves. And he was hobbled, but even still, he was horrific in that series, and that's when it all started. And the Nuggets still took them 7 games and had a 20-point lead in the third quarter, but Jokic refused to come out of the game because he knew if he sat down, Minnesota would go on a run. And then with 5 minutes to go, Jokic is out of gas, and that's when Minnesota trounced on them in the last 5 minutes and won the series, took the series away from the Nuggets at that point.
Yeah, let me just go through some of those games, Gary. Game 1 of that series, 2024 second round series, the Western semis, Jamal Murray, 6 of 14, 17 points, minus 22, worst in the game on the plus minus. Game 2, even worse. Game 2, 3 of 18 for 8 points was Jamal Murray in game 2. 3 of 18 for 8 points. Game 3, a good game. 11 of 21 for 24 points. So a good game there. I'm guessing he probably had a good game in game 4 too, because they won that game as well.
Right.
8 of 17, 19 points. Not terrible. 8 of 17, 19. Game 5, that was the Jokic game. Murray was still, though, not terrible. 7 of 14 for 16 points. And then game 6, an all-time dud for all the Nuggets, but Murray in particular, 4 of 18 for 10 points. So there were 2 games in that series where he was 3 of 18 for 8 and 4 of 18 for 10. And then he did show up in the first half of game 7. He was, for the game, he had his game, for the whole game, he looked okay. He had 35 points, but on only 13 of 27, and a lot of the damage was in the first half. The second half for Murray, 5 of 12, 11 points. So for the entire series, in that series, a 7-game loss, Jamal Murray, 18 points per game on just a shade over 40%, 40.3%. And obviously when we see Jamal Murray in the regular season, he's an elite efficient scorer. Like, same deal this year. This man shot 48% from the field this year and 43% from the three-point line. And in the postseason this year, he shot like 34% in this first round loss. So I don't know what the hell happens to him in the playoffs. It's either he isn't really that good to begin with, and then he gets exposed in the playoffs, or he is a choke artist. Those are the only 2 options, because he has a drastic decline every single year in the playoffs. And the crazy thing is, he's had this word of mouth of him being like an elite playoff riser. And he's actually the antithesis of that over the last 3 straight years now. James Cav 81 is in next. Go Knicks. I know James Cav is a big Knicks fan, so congratulations to you tonight, sir. 1 game away. Gary, go ahead with the question or comment from James.
Does Gary not think Whitlock's sports takes are at least unique and compelling? WNBA aside, of course, LOL. Scott, what do you think? Go Knicks.
Well, I know Gary really likes his Stephen A. Smith takes. I know that. Aside from that, I don't know that Gary is that impressed.
Okay, hold on. Time out. Let's clarify. Skap, what he meant to say was that I like Whitlock's exposed videos on Stephen A. Smith.
Right.
At first, I thought you were joking. You said Gary really likes his Stephen A. Smith. I thought you were talking about I like Stephen A. Smith's takes, which I obviously don't, because he's horrific also. Right. Just wanted to clarify in case that was
no, you like the Whitlock exposed videos.
Yes, they're top notch. That's Whitlock's best work.
Whitlock and I typically see eye to eye on mostly everything. There's a few things we do not agree on. He hates Kobe. He will claim he doesn't hate Kobe, but he does. So I am not with him on that, obviously. And other than that, he and I typically align. This postseason, we've been butting heads a little bit just because he was defending James Harden after the last choke job. He was defending LeBron James at one point this postseason to me too. So I had to go against him in both of those areas. But other than that, Jason and I typically do see eye to eye on. And I'm very thankful for Jason for giving me the opportunity to come on and take part in his show with him. And just in general, I grew up watching, like, I watched ESPN like every waking hour of my life when I was growing up. And Jason Whitlock was on a show called The Sports Reporters, and among other shows, he was on Fox Sports, a Fox Sports show with Marcellus Wiley when I was a little bit younger as well. So Jason Whitlock he's just a sports broadcasting icon, basically. So it was obvious when he initially called me 2 years ago and we connected. It was like a really cool moment for me individually, like a kind of I made it sort of a moment having Jason Whitlock, this guy that was on ESPN and Fox Sports prominently featured when I was growing up, that was contacting me and wanting to do some work in collaboration with me. So I appreciate it, but I do have to push back on him at sometimes. And he does love the WNBA. I think it's ridiculous. I'm trying to get him to champion my one-on-one challenge to Angel Reese. I want to get this out there. I want to play Angel Reese one-on-one. I want her to acknowledge my challenge, to accept my challenge. I need like 2 to 3 months of prep time if she accepts, because I haven't touched the ball in like 10 years. But I think if I can get 2 to 3 months of prep time, I think I would shut her out, honestly. I think.
What if you didn't get prep time? What if she came in this live stream and said, right now, Skap, let's play next weekend?
I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know, because I mean, I think my athleticism, strength, physicality would be able still to beat her, but it would be harder because my jump shot is so key to my one-on-one game, and getting people to overcommit to my jump shot and then go by. And I know my shot would not be there after 10 years of not shooting a basketball. But the biggest issue would be my ball handling. Like, my jump shot is somewhat like natural, I feel like. I work out every day. Like, I run every day. I lift weights every day. Even for an old man now in my 40s, I'm still in upper echelon elite physical conditioning for a normal person, and probably way above Angel Reese, quite frankly. But my ball handling was my weakest part of my game, and the thing I had to work on the most when I was playing a lot. Like, the ball handling was the thing that I worked on the most.
Do you really need to handle the ball against her? What do you think? Are you afraid of her mid-range
if my jump
jumper?
shot isn't there, if my jumper isn't there and I can't dribble by her, like, I mean, I'm just basically gonna have to back her down.
Post, like, yeah, right. That's all you'd have to do.
Down.
It's not like she's got a mid-range shot. She can't make layups. She can't. When is she going to score? Because you're going to lock her down like Tony Allen.
Right. That's
exactly.
Especially if I would have 2 to 3 months of prep, I guarantee she would. I would be whatever we go to, 11, 15, 21, whatever it is. She wouldn't score because she wouldn't be able to get by me. I wouldn't respect her shot at all. For what shot? But still, like, I wouldn't even let her see a good shot, because I wouldn't want her to pull one out of her ass and make a lucky basket and me ruin my whitewash of her or my sweep of her. So I wouldn't want her to just throw some lucky thing in from 3 that I gave her. So I would be right up on the shot, but then she couldn't get by me, really. So I don't. And even if she did somehow get under the basket, she blows layups all day long in the
exactly
every game in the WNBA. She's blowing layups. So what? She certainly won't be able to make shots. Or we're basically the same size. Like, I'm the same height as her, but I probably outweigh her by a good 30 to 40 pounds of like muscle. So I just don't see any way I lose that game. So I would love to play her. So I'm trying to get people with bigger platforms than me to put this out there and get the word percolating around the interwebs, and just have like the story be middle-aged white dude who hasn't touched the ball in a decade says he would shut out Angel Reese in a one-on-one game, and see her accept the challenge and then me humiliate her. Gary, that footage, I would have somebody come with a camera and film the whole game. That footage would go viral as hell, I feel like. Either way.
You're 6'3", right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
6'3", like 190.
So is your mission here to shut her out 11-0?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, are you saying you're not concerned if you were to play her next week on no preparation basis? Are you saying you're not concerned with losing? You're just concerned that she might get a couple lucky shots? Is that your concern?
And I wouldn't shut her out, and I wouldn't look as good as I could if I had, like, I would not look great in the game either, I don't think. Like, even though I could fumble my way to a win, like, I actually want to look good. Like, I want to look like I could play as well and just embarrass her. So for that, I would need like 2 to 3 months, I think.
So you want to be LeBron right now. 41-year-old superstar.
And yeah, I would film myself. On my channel would become Skap Attack Trains to destroy Angel Reese. And it would be a monthly, like a 2 or 3 month, like daily diary log of me like training. I would be training like 7, 8 hours a day. Like just working. I would be doing Kobe 666 training for the next like 2 or 3 months. I would come in there lean as shit. I would probably be like 4 or 5% body fat. I would be easily dunking. My goal would obviously be to dunk on her a couple times in the game. So I would love to do it. So
guess what happened, Jay? I just saw into the future.
Okay.
Okay, you've been training 3 months. It's on. Oh, sorry. Angel Reese has a hamstring strain. She can't play. She really, really wanted to, but she can't. Darn it.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm putting the footage out of me training, then maybe she's probably also going to see the footage at some point and then be like,
right,
oh,
that's what I'm saying.
That guy's going to beat my ass. I should probably pull out of this in some way.
Right, that's exactly what I'm saying. She would see the footage and then be like, oh, I got a hamstring strain.
But yes, guys, if you're out there, we got about 500 people in here right now. If you're out there, if you have any kind of a social media platform, get the word out. Help me. Skap v. Reese. One-on-one, like that's what we're working towards here.
Unfortunately, Skap, it would never happen because these people, first of all, she sucks. She's a rebounder. That's all she is. She's garbage. She's blown up because there's a network of people that blow up certain people who don't deserve it. They would get like Nick Wright's in that category. They would never go against someone like you because they would be exposed as frauds. So therefore, it doesn't matter how many people put it out. They wouldn't do it. I undoubtedly believe that you could beat her. I just know for her brand, it would ruin her. It would tarnish her. It's not like she's competitive like Kobe. It's like, oh, let me get at him. Oh, he's talking trash. Let me get at him. I want you one-on-one. I want you. No, she's more like LeBron. She's going to duck the smoke. How LeBron gloat around as the GOAT? This dude never even one single time entered the slam dunk competition. And that tells the tale. That shows how much of a coward this guy is. Kobe wasn't the best dunker, but at least just wanted to try. And Kobe got lucky because the year he entered, there was no great competition, so he won. On most years, Kobe would have got smoked in the dunk contest. He's a great in-game dunker, but he's not like Jordan and Vince Carter. But at least he tried. That's the competitiveness. LeBron, Angel Reese, they're frauds. They don't have that competitive juices flowing through their veins like Kobe.
So, and Gary, I don't know if you noticed, but Mario Chalmers has famously gone on the record.
Right.
Of course, he played with LeBron on the Heat when Michael Beasley was also on the Heat. And Mario Chalmers said that Michael Beasley played LeBron James one-on-one often and always beat him. That Michael Beasley always beat LeBron one-on-one, which is embarrassing. But anyway, Gary, look, SEC 30 wants to know where he can find a Bron playoff gag job vid from me. Look, the video that really sparked my channel like 3 years ago in May of 2023, The Last Choke docuseries. It was a play off of The Last Dance documentary about Michael Jordan. I put it out the night LeBron got swept by the Nuggets and Nikola Jokic in the Western Conference Finals. It's called, again, The Last Choke. Just go and
I'm linking. No, I'm
okay.
linking it. Give me 1 second. I'll have it up. Yeah, keep promoting it.
So like, and there, I did like 4 or 5 others in the series, like the last flop, the last excuse, the last super team, and then most recently this year, the last sweep, I believe was my 5th entry. Oh, and I did
Do you have that on a playlist, on one single playlist of those?
I think so. I think they are. The last sweep hasn't been added, but it is. So if you go to my homepage on my YouTube channel, there should be a LeBron James last series where there's like the 5 that I did 5 or 3 years ago will be on there. And then, other than that, I have done a lot of other playoff. Another video that I really like that I spent a lot of time on that I think is really good is it's LeBron versus Kobe Bryant in the clutch. It's about a 14-minute video. It's about Kobe Bryant's clutch time in the postseason in his career and LeBron James's clutch time. I look at various stages of the game and score within certain score levels, and I discuss like those players' individual performances during those times of games. I think it's a very good video. It's one of my favorite videos that I did. It's not as big as the last ones where I got like 300,000-400,000 views on those, but that Kobe versus LeBron in the clutch is like 98,000 views or something, and it's a very good video as well. So I would recommend that one too, SEC. And thanks for asking. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay, guys, I am posting this playlist. This playlist has 5 videos. It's called The Last Series. We've got The Last Choke, The Last Shot, The Last Excuse, The Last Flop, The Last Super Team. All of these videos are excellent, and I think these are the videos that drew my attention to your channel in the first place. So I am posting this in the chat for you guys to check out. Hopefully that link works. Let me know.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you for asking, SEC. I appreciate that. All right, Boo's got that beam is up next. What's up, Boo? Welcome into you, as always, here every single night. Gary, what's the question or comment from Boo?
Bougie is a comedian here, I see. What would your reaction be if the Knicks win and then LeBron joined them?
I mean, I think we know what my reaction would be. Same old LeBron James, just building suit, trying to ride the coattails to as many cheap, easy rings as this guy can get himself to. It wouldn't shock or stun me if he did it, but I would be surprised if he did it, just because of the narrative against him right now. The fact that he did build the super teams and looks weak as hell now in hindsight to many people. I would be surprised if if he joined a champion. That really would surprise me. Nothing with him though at this point would shock me anymore. Boo. All right, we've got Emmanuel is in next. What's up, Emmanuel? Welcome into you again, another regular. Thank you very much for being here as always. Gary, what is Emmanuel's question or comment?
The Cavs should get Austin Reeves. I'm a Hawks fan, but Mitchell is my favorite player. Still hurts to see. What should the Hawks do to get a ring?
I think I like what the Hawks have done. I like what they're building, and I like the moves they made at the trade deadline. I think CJ McCollum is on an expired contract now, so I think he's 34, so you don't want to break the bank for him. But I would think like maybe a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year player option for like 30-ish million if you can get it, like 3 years, 90 million or something for him. He might want more with how great he played down the stretch in the last like 4 weeks after they acquired him and then into the playoffs. I wouldn't go overboard with paying him like $45-50 million. Even, he's not 37, 38, but still 34, and he's a smaller guy. But I would try my best to retain him. And then I would look into maybe Isaiah Hartenstein. He's got 1 year left on his contract next year, which is a team option year. Maybe see if they could pry him away from the Thunder in some kind of a deal this summer. If not, if they want to activate the team option and keep him on the final year of it. I don't think that they have the ability to re-sign him after that. So maybe the Hawks kind of work their books towards his inevitability of becoming a free agent the following year and entering into free agency, because I think Isaiah Hartenstein would be a perfect fit on that team. They are an elite defensive squad. He would add to that and fit right in. He's still only 27 years old, 27 or 28 years old. So plenty of years left moving forward. And I think they could even feature him, and he can actually do more offensively than they've shown in Oklahoma City. So like those would be some of they really just need like an elite defensive center, in my estimation, for the Hawks to be a real player moving forward. And I think Hartenstein could be that guy for them. Go ahead, Gary.
They've also got the 8th and the 23rd pick in the first round of this upcoming draft.
A very deep draft. So if they hit on the 8th pick, then that could be like an immediate impact player, like right off the bat. And as for Austin Reeves, I think, look, Luka likes Austin a lot. Luka wants Austin Reeves in a Laker uniform. So with that said, chances are very likely that Luka will get what he wants and Austin Reeves will be in a Laker uniform, because the Lakers are going to try to keep Luka as happy as possible. I don't know if that's even necessarily a good fit next to Luka Doncic for the Lakers. Like, maybe it would be better if they just blew the whole thing up and just started from scratch around Luka. But Luka will get what Luka wants. And if Luka wants AR, he'll get AR. All right, Jamos is back in, or in as usual, I should say. Thank you, Jamos. Welcome in. Gary, what's his question or comment for us tonight?
Called it with the Knicks. They dominated this series wire to wire and looked set to put this series away. Like I said, glad I'm working remotely.
Me too. I'm glad you're working remotely as well. You want to steer clear of Gotham City when the New York Knicks either get into the finals, and definitely most certainly if they win the finals. Look, win or lose. The crazy thing to me is with all big cities, I'm not talking shit on New York. It happens in every city. Like, I lived in Philly for several years. The closer you get to a title, whether you win or lose, like, people just melt down and destroy the city. Like, it's just so weird to me. Like, if they lose, they destroy the city. If they win, they destroy the city. Like, it's just a lose-lose, really, for the city. Like, if the closer a team gets to a championship, ultimately, the city just needs to start, like, locking down and taking precautions. Philly has legendarily recently started greasing up, like, oiling lampposts and stuff, so people can't climb up them and tear them out of the ground. So it's wild to me why like the psyche or the mentality, the mob mentality. It's just really, it's wild to me, like, why this happens like that. And it happens in pretty much, like I said, every big city. I remember back when the Lakers won in 2000 and like several police cars were like lit on fire in LA during the celebration. All right. Kalu Lee is back in. I think I'm saying that right. The very Kalu Lee who dropped multiple like outrageous, very generous super chats on us the other night. So welcome back into you with more generous donations for us. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your kind and generous support of us. Gary, what is the first? We've got a couple actually here back to back coming up. So let's take the first of two here, Gary.
Shaq won 0 rings as alpha in Orlando, 0 rings as alpha after Kobe. Miami 06 was Wade's ring, Wade's final MVP. Kobe won 2 rings plus 2 finals MVPs without Shaq. Who's Batman to who?
Yeah, I talk about this all the time. When Shaq left LA, Kobe's team the trade package was Caron Butler, Lamar Odom, and Brian Grant. That is what they got for Shaquille O'Neal. That was the package. And Kobe's team was those guys: Smush Parker, Kwame Brown, Chris Mim, Brian Cook, and Luke Walton. That was the entire roster. That is one of the worst rosters I've ever heard of in my life, quite frankly. I'm not joking. Like, Smush Parker was starting at point guard and out of the NBA. Smush Parker started as point guard for 2 years for Kobe in Kobe's absolute peak. And then Smush Parker was gone at like 27. He was out of the NBA altogether after that. From starting point guard next to Kobe Bryant in his peak to playing like in China for the rest of his professional career. Just a crazy, horrendous team. Then it looked like he was taking Andrew Bynum as his second best player all the way to the NBA Finals. The trade deadline was nearing in 07-08. The Lakers were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. They were preseason like 16th odds on favorite to win the NBA championship that year. Like 8th or 9th in the West preseason. They were 60% through the year and the number 1 seed in the conference. And Andrew Bynum blew his knee out. They traded for Pau Gasol then at that point. And Kobe went to 3 consecutive finals after that and won back-to-back. With one fringe all-star in Pau Gasol. Then after that, his team sucked again. And he blew his Achilles out trying to single-handedly drag his shit squad into the playoffs in 2012. Those were the teams Kobe played with after Shaq. Shaq without Kobe played, to your point, not only with Penny in Orlando, not only with Dwayne Wade in Miami, but with prime MVP LeBron James in Cleveland, MVP Steve Nash in Phoenix, the big 3 in the Boston Celtics run, and I feel like I am missing one more team, but maybe not. Maybe that's it. Anyway, Shaquille O'Neal played with an unbelievable amount of elite all-time Hall of Famers outside of Kobe Bryant. To go to fewer finals without Kobe and win fewer than Kobe went to and won without Shaq. Who is Batman indeed, Kaluli? Who indeed? I always say that it was not Batman and Robin, it was Batman and Superman. But like, quite frankly, in 01 and 02, I would stand on the fact that Kobe was the best player and the most important, valuable player in those runs. Shaq was the best player in the finals rounds against the Eastern team. But Kobe was the best player in the West, which was really for all the marbles, quite frankly. All right, second one in a row from Kaluli. Welcome, or I should say thank you for the second one, Gary. What is the second of 2 here?
Kobe scored 81 in one game. Jordan's high is 69. Kobe had 6 games of 60-plus, Jordan 4. Kobe averaged 35.4 points per game in 06, highest since Jordan in 87. Who is the better scorer?
I can't really necessarily put anybody above. Jordan led the league in scoring 10 times. Will Chamberlain led the league in scoring 7 times. George Gervin 4, Kevin Durant 4, Allen Iverson 4. And that might be it. So a handful of guys, there might be one more I'm missing that did it 4. A handful of guys did it 4. No one else has done it more than 4 other than Wilt, who did it 7. And then Jordan did it 10. Jordan, in fact, led the league in scoring basically every year that he was in the NBA. The only years he didn't were 2 years he was not qualified to lead it. He broke his foot in year 2 and played in only 17 games. Then he skipped all of 94-95, played only 8 games in that season after missing all of 93-94. So he wasn't qualified that year. So that leaves in his 15 qualified seasons, really, or 13 qualified seasons. Really only 3 seasons he didn't lead the league in scoring. Those years were his rookie season and his last 2 years at age 39 and 40 with the Wizards. Other than that, he led the league in scoring every single year, which is insane. So I gotta say Mike, if you force me to pick one. But realistically, I can't necessarily pick an order between Wilt, Kobe, and Mike. To me, they're just the 3 best scorers ever. Those 3 are the top 3 in most 40, 50, and 60-point games. And as you mentioned, Kobe's 3rd in 40 and 50-point games. Wilt's 1 in both. Jordan's 2. And then Wilt's 1 in 60-point games. Kobe's 2 and Jordan's 3. So like the one case you make for Kobe is he played in such a much harder era to score than those other two guys. So much harder. Mike's era got hard. People think Mike played in a hard defensive era his whole career. Not true. 94, 95-ish was when it really got hard. And Mike was already 31, 32, whatever. Like he was already in his last 3-year stretch when it really got low scoring. Jordan's time in the 80s and early, the first 3 years in the 90s when he won the championship, still scoring was like 108, 109 per game. And when Chamberlain was doing it, it was like 116 a game. Kobe was at 95, 96 per game on average for his whole prime. And he still did what he did from a scoring standpoint. And that 1 year you referenced in 06, 05, 06, probably the single best scoring season of all time. He scored, there were 12 50-point games that year in the entire NBA. Kobe had 6 of them. So the whole NBA combined had 6 50-point games. Kobe had 6. So, and averaged 40 for like a whole month. Had 4 straight 50-point games. Just a crazy, actually that might've been I think that was the next year. But either way, in that span of those like 2 or 3 years right after Shaq left. And because Kobe had to muffle his individual scoring, because he played with Shaq for 8 years. And then he was into winning time after that, and he was sacrificing his own offense for the betterment of the team. So Kobe only really had like 2 or 3 years to really go at it and show us what he could do from an all-out scoring onslaught standpoint. And he produced maybe the best scoring year ever in that 2 or 3 year span when he was doing it. So you can make a case that in glimpses or flashes, Kobe Bryant showed that he was the greatest scorer of all time. But I would say it's the top 3 are Wilt, Jordan, Kobe for me in no particular order. But if you put a gun to my head and said, you got to say one name, Jordan or Kobe, I would still probably say Jordan. All right. Next in is Bands Nabs 5523. I always say this wrong. Did I get it right this time, Gary?
I think so. And he's got a very inquisitive question here. And the obvious answer is yes. This is too easy. Do you think Nick Wright's jealous of Savannah James?
Probably yes. Probably Nick and Shannon Sharp, Unk. They're both jealous of Savannah James. And who knows? Maybe Wendy as well. Although Brian Windhorst and LeBron have had a falling out in recent years. So as has Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins and Wendy used to be preeminent LeBron sniffers as well, jock sniffers as well. But they've both kind of fallen out as of late. But Bands Nabs, great question. And probably the answer is yes. American Man 5908 is in now. I'll welcome in American Man. Thanks for being here. Gary, he wants to know, how tall am I related to Angel Reese one-on-one? So Angel Reese, let's see what her height and weight list is. I think she's listed at 6'3".
Yeah,
but 6'3". I don't know what her listed weight is. She is listed at 6'4", 165, which is heavier than I would expect her to be. But if she's 6'3", then obviously that's pretty tall, I guess. So that's where that weight comes from. I am 6'3", like 190. So, I've got about 25 pounds on her. I would think I'm exponentially stronger than her. Just because, and I'm not just saying that because I believe men are whatever, physiologically stronger than women. I'm not saying that because of that. I'm saying that because I'm in my I was born in the mid 80s, and I've been lifting weights and strength training or doing body weight work, like extreme body weight work, calisthenics, some combination thereof, for roughly 25 years now, basically every day. So I'm pretty confident in my overall strength advantage to her. And look, I don't jump anymore. I still run. I don't jump. My vertical leap back when I was training, my vertical leap or jumping or whatever was in the low 30s, like 31, 32, 30, maybe got to 33 at some point. Now with no training at all of it, but I still do strength training with my legs. Probably like, I don't know, like 24, 25 inches. But if you give me 3 months to train and to work and to get my fast twitch muscle fibers back, because they're there, I have the muscle memory there for it. I just need to recalibrate and let it learn again. I would get it back. And when I was playing basketball and playing regularly, I could dunk in games. So I would think that even at my old stage of life relatively to her, because she's whatever, I'm probably nearly twice her age, but I think I am significantly more athletic than her still. And if given 2 to 3 months of prep time to again, recalibrate, I feel like it would be a domination. So do with that what you will, American Man 5908. Oh, we're getting some Angel Reese stuff, and I love it. Gary, go ahead with Boo's Got That Beam. Another Angel Reese centric. This is what I want. I need buzz around this matchup. Go ahead.
Angel Reese bum as is only there for the money and fame. Caitlin Clark clears Sid from Ice Age.
Yes, I mean, obviously, look, Caitlin Clark. I think Angel Reese right now, Gary, in case you don't know, I'm sure you don't, is averaging. She's shooting 33% from the field right now, Gary, for the year.
Caitlin?
No, Angel Reese.
Oh, okay.
Angel Reese is shooting 33% from the field, and she shoots from like 3 feet from the basket.
Career high for her.
She is averaging 5 turnovers a game and 3 field goals made a game right now. And Caitlin Clark, meanwhile, I think she's third in the NBA in scoring and leading the WNBA. She's third in the WNBA in scoring and leading the WNBA in assists. She's averaging like 24, 9, and 5 right now. So, and look, Caitlin Clark has a lot of turnovers too, but she 24 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds compared to Angel Reese, who's shooting 33% and averaging more turnovers than field goals made. Yeah, not even a conversation. Angel Reese's greatest trick was getting people to somehow connect the dots between those two. Her hitching herself to Caitlin's wagon was like the smartest thing she's ever done. Go ahead, Gary.
You said last time, let me get clarification here. I'm not trying to create some controversy here, but we might get a little bit. You said also that you could beat any WNBA player with 3 months preparation, including Caitlin Clark or Aja Wilson. Do you stand by that?
I've been watching more WNBA lately.
I would just think that Caitlin would be able to dribble. Her handle's so good, she'd be able to dribble around you and just make like mid-range jumpers, and you'd be like, "What the hell? I can't do anything about this."
If her shot is going, mate, I mean, because she's still very small compared. Like,
she's like 6'2", isn't she?
She's 6 foot 150 is what her height and weight is.
Okay,
so now Aja Wilson, though, I just looked her up, 6'4", 195. So she's actually got like an inch. She's probably got like an inch or an inch and a half on me, and like weighs the same or maybe a little more. So, and she's whatever, a 3-time league MVP. So perhaps not those two. Perhaps not those, but I don't know, Gary. Honestly, I don't know. I think it would be look, I wouldn't get humiliated in that game if I get 3 months prep time on that. Just with my sheer strength and athleticism advantage. Go ahead.
You have 1 year to prepare. Summer 2027. It's come down to this, the ultimate showdown. Skap Attack takes on LeBron James one-on-one. Who wins? What do you like in chances against LeBron?
He's just too big. He's just too big, too athletic. There's just no way. I think, and I just can't his shot is so porous, I feel like, especially in a one-on-one setting, but like he's just too big, too physical. I mean, he weighs 70 pounds more than me and is like 6 inches taller than me and has like a 40+ inch vertical leap still. No, there's no way.
Okay, I got better matchup.
Okay.
What about not Isaiah Thomas from the Pistons, but Isaiah Thomas, who had that very sad, tragic injury that just ultimately led to him getting out. He is still playing. I want to say he's playing overseas, but he's older as well, and he's short. What about him one-on-one with 6 months to prepare?
Gary, have you seen NBA players like on a
Yeah,
regular? Have you seen
I don't
footage?
think you could beat any NBA
No,
player. That's what
there's
I'm
no
getting
way.
at.
Like I'm
Right,
42 years old, and
right, right,
these guys are so good. Like when you see them
right,
on an
right.
actual, like you see footage of
Exactly.
them on LA fitness courts or whatever, and they look like
Right.
they're unstoppable. Like I saw footage
Okay.
this summer of Aaron Gordon like playing at LA Fitness or something. He was literally unstoppable. He was just
Right.
like dribbling through like 3-4 dudes, like spinning around them, like shooting like fall away, like 20-foot shots, and was going in every single time. Like it was just like unstoppable. So no, I would like, there's no way at my age and like
I just wanted
no.
to see what you're saying. That's what I was going to say. Because if you were saying, well, maybe, I was going to
No.
say it. I was going to say, no way you're touching that.
But Gary,
any
the
of these
WNBA
guys,
they're so bad by and large. Like you bring up like Aja Wilson and like Caitlin Clark are
she's
like
good.
the two best players by far.
Right.
Like,
right.
I mean, by and large, the like 90% of these people, and Angel Reese is like a star player and she stinks. And I would easily beat her with 2 or 3 months of prep time. So like the vast majority of these women, like I'm saying, I haven't touched the ball in 10 years and I'm 42 years old and I would easily beat them with a couple of months of prep time. It's insane.
I know one woman you would never beat, Cheryl Miller.
Well, Gary, she's like 100 years old now, maybe now.
But no, I'm talking about when she was like, in her prime.
And she was really big. She was like 6'6" or something, wasn't she?
I don't know if she's that tall. I can look it up, but yeah, Cheryl Miller may be the GOAT as far as women basketball players. Wasn't she score 100 in a game? And like Reggie came home because he scored 40. He was all excited. He scored 40 or 50.
Yes, that did happen. She's only 6'2", actually.
Okay, yeah. So she's just so darn talented.
And yeah, she might 62. Be the GOAT woman. Gary, player. I would beat her right now. She's 62 years old and 6'2".
Oh, right now she's 62. Yeah, I'm talking about when she was in her prime. Right. Like, say she's like 30, even 30, 35, 40. I think she school you. School just about any man, other than like an NBA player. Finally, Reggie could beat her at some point.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's, and I don't think I'm being like disrespectful here, by the way. I've seen high school, like soccer, high school, elite soccer, high school boys squads. They're like state championship caliber high school teams are beating, like they're beating the U.S. Olympic women's soccer team. And like, I'm drawing a complete blank now for some reason. Serena Williams, the GOAT female tennis player, said like people were asking like, oh, who would win and like whatever, and like they were bringing up like Roger Federer or whatever, like elite men. She's like,
Andy
I would
Riddick
lose in straight sets to the worst, the last ranked male on earth. I would lose in straight sets. It wouldn't be competitive. Like it just is what it is. Like if I was like 5'8" or 5'9" and like haven't worked out in 10 years, then I'm delusional saying that I would beat WNBA players. But the fact that I'm bigger than most of them, stronger, in better shape, more athletic, like there's just no way I would lose. Like there just isn't. Go ahead, Gary.
Last question. You 101, 6 months to prepare. You and Bronny James 101. Who wins? I
mean, again, he's too athletically gifted. I think he's probably he's a little bit bigger. He's probably 2 inches on me, probably 10, 15 pounds, and like 10, 15 inches on his vertical leap. And he's 23 and I'm 42. Like I don't think, and there's no active NBA player, Gary, that I can beat in a game of 1-on-1.
Right. Okay. I said that because if you had said, well, maybe I could get him for this or that, I would have pushed back and said, there's no way in hell you're beating Bronny James. But the fact that you admit that you wouldn't beat him shows that you really honestly believe you can beat Angel Reese. So that's why I wanted to highlight that this isn't just you talking, because if you're like, yeah, I think I might have a chance against Bronny, I would have said, nah. And one that you did say you thought you might be able to beat him in horse. I would even say I don't think you even touch him in horse because this dude does nothing but practice. He gets paid millions of dollars every year just to practice, and he's playing around Luka and Austin Reeves. So he's getting a lot of mentorship from those guys. He hasn't got mentorship from any other source throughout his entire life. Only now that he's playing with Luka and Austin is he getting real mentorship.
Fair. All right, sorry to sidetrack us on but I really want this matchup to happen, guys. So do what you can to help promote my challenge to Angel Reese. We've got Mata Zindu in next. Mata, what's up? Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate you for being here tonight and for providing us with this question or comment. Gary, what is the question or comment?
As a Laker fan, I am saddened by the Knicks. We have had the likes of Kobe, Magic, Kareem, etc., and now we're a joke. The biggest franchise is a joke.
Yeah, I think, look, you can fight with me, Lakers or Celtics. I take the Lakers. The Celtics I think they've won the same amount. I want to say the Lakers and Celtics both have 17 NBA championships. I do believe. But the Celtics may have one more. It is, yes, the Celtics have 18. Oh, because they won in 2024. So yes, the Celtics have 18. The Lakers have 17. Then the Warriors have 7 and the Bulls have 6. The Spurs have 5. So a big drop off from the Celtics and the Lakers. The Celtics have been in a lot more finals than the Lakers. But the fact that the Lakers have one fewer championship and they have had, when you look at the greatest players that have ever existed in NBA history, like the top, let's just say the top 15 players ever, like 2/3 of them have gone through LA, have worn Laker jerseys at some point. Like, and then the glitz, the glamour, the Hollywood lights, the showcase of it all. I would say the Lakers are the most storied franchise in NBA history. So the fact that, yes, the Knicks are back, they are so back. And you've got the Boston Celtics, who just won a championship in 2024, who were the 53-win 3 seed, I think, this year, or 2 seed. They were the 2 seed, the 53-win 2 seed this year. And you think they're going to make some kind of move to bolster their team in the summer. The Lakers don't look like they're close right now, though that can change quickly. They just have to blow up. They've got a lot of things coming off the books. They just have to make the right moves in the summer and build the right pieces around Luka, and they can get back to like a competitive level. But the pathway to the NBA championship for the Knicks or the Celtics looks a lot different than the pathway for the Lakers in the West, even if they do get a lot better in the offseason and add the right pieces, because in the West are the Thunder and the Spurs, who are just both so young and so primed to dominate for several years to come. Speaking of the Knicks dominating, though, the East right now, Cusmo Jimbo, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Congratulations to you and your New York Knicks, and you are one game away from really popping that champagne. So I know you don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves, but it's basically a foregone conclusion. So congratulations to you. Thank you for being here, Gary. What's the question or comment from Cusmo Jimbo?
What would you say was both the greatest NBA Finals series and the worst NBA Finals series of all time? For me, worst was definitely Celtics Mavs 2024. Yeah, that one was pretty bad. It's in the 0-2 Lakers Nets was not very good either, just because of how dang good the Lakers were.
But that series meant a lot to me because Kobe, I loved Kobe, and that was a three-peat. So like that, I love that series.
And this Celtics one meant a lot to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown because they are NBA champions.
So I guess it's somewhat in the eye of the beholder. Like, to me, probably the worst NBA final series for me personally as a fan would probably have to be the 0-4 Pistons-Lakers series, because the Lakers got just destroyed in that series, just totally shut down, clamped down. Like, humiliated, embarrassed. Like, they were a huge favorite in that series, and it wasn't even remotely close. They lost 4-1 and got just thoroughly beat to shit in that series. It ended the Shaq Kobe dynasty. And that would probably be, for me, my own individual fandom, and just things that I like or don't like watching. Probably that would have to take the cake as the worst series. And then for me personally, again, for me, the best series would probably be the 2010 NBA Finals for the Lakers and the Celtics, Kobe and the Celtics, the rematch from them getting embarrassed in 08. And Kobe, they were down 3-2 in that series. It was a insanely difficult, highly defensively oriented series. And the Lakers were down 3-2 in that series. Did not look good. That was when it was 2-3-2. So they had to go back home and win both games in LA, and they did. And they were down big in game 7. They were down like 14 or 15 points in the third quarter. And they just kept fighting, found a way to it. And it was Kobe's 5th ring, which gave him one more than Shaq, famously, as he said in the post-game press conference. And it brought him at the time one away from Michael. And he was only like 31 or 32 at the time. So still a look at getting 6 maybe, which he ultimately didn't. But probably, so for me, being a huge, Kobe is my favorite athlete by far. And my favorite moments in the NBA pretty much completely rotate around Kobe Bryant. So probably my least favorite and my favorite, for me, both go circle around Kobe Bryant. If I'm removing my individual fandom out of it and just saying what was like the grossest series to watch or whatever, Gary, I'm going to go to the Nets Spurs series, actually, which was right around the same time as the Lakers Nets. The Spurs dusted them as well. And that actually is one of the least watched final series still to this day in NBA history. So I would say that's probably the worst one. And then the best one really might well have been maybe that Mavericks Heat series was so captivating because it was the Heatles, their first finals run together. They were huge favorites. As the Mavericks evened it, a lot of people started tuning into it. That was big. And then honestly, the 98 series with the Jordan Last Dance year, that was a really captivating series as well. There, in the backdrop of it, was the massive rampant speculation. This was Jordan's last game ever, his last series ever. He was going to retire. Phil Jackson was gone. The whole thing was blowing up. They were on that captivating Eastern Conference run. The Pacers took them 7 in a really hard-fought series. It gets into the NBA championship. It was a rematch against the year before. The Jazz had home court advantage. They were a 60-plus win team. Karl Malone was the year before his MVP. He was the runner-up in 98 to Jordan. And that was, Pippen had the ailing back. He was in and out of the lineup. Like, that was a really, really compelling series. I would say those are probably the two like greatest series, maybe, if I'm removing my own individual fandom. Though, even with my own individual fandom, I love the 98 series and I love the 011 series as well. So those are just ones that come to my mind as an individual that has watched. If you ask me to look back into all NBA history, probably you pick one of those Celtics Lakers, one of those Bird Magic matchups in the 80s, as probably like the greatest series ever. You're talking about to many Mount Rushmore players, to me, 2 top 7 all-time players in their peak, loaded teams, the 2 greatest franchises ever, the blue-collar workman type team in Boston, the Hollywood glamorous, like the bright lights type team of the Lake Show, and like the 2 of them clashing and colliding. I mean, that's probably one of those series. I don't, off the top of my head, I can't like specifically name it, but I believe they played.
87 was a good one.
They played, was it for Bird beat Magic once, and I think Magic beat Bird twice. So they played 3 times, I believe. I know the 2 of them combined to win 8 in like a 11-year run. Bird with 3, Magic with 5 in like an 11-year span. But they didn't play every single year. Like Bird beat Magic only once. I know that. Other than that, he beat they beat the Rockets the one year, and trying to think who they beat the third time in there. It's hazy for me because again, I wasn't.
They might have beat the Lakers twice, and the Lakers might have beat them. I can double check that if you want to keep talking. I can fact check.
Yeah, just look up the NBA Finals winners by year or whatever.
I've looked this up before, and I'm just totally forgetting it because I studied that a while ago and I forgot.
I know Bird didn't beat Magic more than one. Or maybe they did because no, it was Houston was the 80s. 86 was Houston. The best that crazy team, that Boston team that lost 2 home games all year, that had Bill Walton as the sixth man of the year that season in 86. They beat Ralph Sampson and Akeem Olajuwon, who beat the Lakers to get there. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay, we've got 80 Lakers over the Sixers, 81 right. Celtics over the Rockets,
right?
82 Lakers over the Sixers, 83 Sixers over the Lakers, 84 Celtics over Lakers, so count that one for Bird. 85 Lakers over Celtics, count that one for Magic. 86 Celtics over Rockets.
Again.
87 Lakers over Celtics. That's the first time I started watching basketball as a kid in the summer in the finals. Lakers over the Celtics in 6. And then in 88, this is one of my favorites. The Lakers over the Pistons in 7 games. That was a really close series. I remember that one as a kid as well. And I really liked that whole back and forth between them. And then in 89, the Pistons played the Lakers. I believe the Lakers had some injuries in there. They beat them 4-0. I'm pretty sure the Lakers had significant injuries. And then as we know, the Pistons in 90 beat the Trailblazers. And then 91, the Bulls took over. But I think you're right. Magic 2, Bird 1.
Correct. And 3 times, even though the 2 of them combined dominated in the 80s because they combined again to win a total in 11 years, but they only actually faced 3 times. So, but still, like those were such so built up, much must see that I feel like you pick one of those years, honestly. And but I don't know. I mean, that would be before my time. So I couldn't to answer. It's a great question, Jimbo. We spent a lot of time on it because it really is a great question. But yeah, in my time of watching the NBA, those would be my answers, but you could certainly go back in time and pick out some, and then even look, hey, whenever Will played Russell in the playoffs, that was obviously must see as well. When the Lakers won their champion, they played the Knicks a few times, which was back in the Jerry West days. So there's a lot of all-time great series, but what I've seen, that would be my answer. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay, everybody's wrong. The worst series, 2020. Bubble. That's Lakers, the worst finals ever.
Bubble? Yeah,
that's the worst finals of all time.
It was pretty bad, and it was a bunch of the Heat got hurt too. Goran Dragic he was on that. He was a big player for them on the team. I think he got hurt in that round. And there was one other player that because the Heat were actually on a run in the bubble, and then 2 of their main contributing guys got hurt. I'm pretty sure Goran Dragic was one of the guys. And then I'm trying to remember who the other guy that got hurt. So yes, Goran Dragic played only 2 games in that final series of the 6 games. But in that 2020 postseason, he averaged 19 points per game in 17 games that year in the postseason. 19 points per game, a career high in his 7 postseason appearances. He was their second best player in the bubble, and he got hurt and played only 2 of the 6 games. So, and Bam Adebayo, that was the other guy that got hurt. Bam played in only 4 of the 6. So their 3 best players in that run were Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Goran Dragic. Dragic missed
And Butler rolled his ankle in game 1.
Right. And Bam missed 2 of the 4, and Butler played but was hurt. And they still took the Lakers 6. Still. So, yeah, that's just a pathetic thing for that whole thing for the NBA in general. Pathetic. All right, we've got our player 77 is in next. Welcome into you, our player. Thanks for being here. Gary, what's the question or comment from our player?
Happy that the beard is 1 loss from Cancun. Which teams from East and West eliminated so far have you been most gratified of them losing, and why?
Well, obviously in the West, the Lakers, because I just dislike LeBron James. I think he cheated the NBA. I think he cheated the sport of basketball. I think he cheated himself. And it's cheap that he somehow now has 4 rings that are garbage rings and cheap rings that he doesn't deserve and shouldn't have. And because of those rings, he has now elevated his legacy to a standpoint where he is getting serious GOAT consideration by some misguided individuals. So I feel like I want him as far away from another ring as possible. So every year he goes out, no matter how unlikely it seems that a championship is coming for him, I'm just happy and satisfied. So definitely that was the most satisfying elimination for me. And that would be in the West. In the East, probably I like Philly somewhat. I like Joel Embiid has been on my nerves in recent years. So I feel like, and same with Paul George. So I feel like I kind of like seeing them go out, sadly, but I like Tyrese Maxey a lot. So I like Edgecombe too. So I feel like maybe not them. I haven't really gotten a lot of satisfaction out of any teams that have lost so far.
I think so. I think you were really glad to see the Spurs eliminate the Timberwolves.
That too. Well, but I'm saying my answer was the Lakers for the West. But yes, I was also very happy to see the Timberwolves out. I don't like the Timberwolves. So I guess really in the East, there was no team that I was like, yes, so glad to see them out. But I guess, so I would not answer. I would duck your question in the East because really none of the teams. I wasn't like satisfied to see any of them necessarily go out. But in the West, I'll just give you 2 then instead. And it would definitely be the Lakers and the Timberwolves for sure. All right, our player follows up with a second consecutive question. Go ahead, Gary, with the second one. And our player, thank you very much for your kind donations for us.
When can you say, well, in start of lives?
Yeah, so I didn't even, it wasn't a thing at all, like that I say well to start my videos. I was inadvertently doing it. Like I have 840 videos or something like that roughly published right now on YouTube. And I didn't even notice that I was beginning all of them with well until I was like 200 or 300 videos in. And someone was like, yo, Skap, like, why do you say well before every video? And then like I thought about it and I went back and looked at some videos and I was like, I really do say well, like for basically every video. So then it became a point. Like I then decided to intentionally try to see if I could start every single video with well. And the vast majority of them I have, probably 98 or 99% of the 800 plus videos begin with well. And when I'm really feeling myself on a specific take, or I really think I'm going to cook in that video, or I'm really very, very thankful for a specific outcome or something, I drop the well, and there are 3 wells. So sometimes I start my lives with well, but it's not a thing, or it's not an intentional or a goal of mine with the wells. But maybe our player for you for tomorrow night, I will begin with 1 well tomorrow if the Thunder win. But if the Spurs win, I will go with 3 wells because I will be very excited and happy for my Spurs at this point to have gotten that win. Next in, we welcome Wolfsbane, who is, as we know, a Hawks fan, and that is the beginning part of this question. Gary, what does Wolfsbane have about or want us to know about the Hawks?
As a Hawks fan, we need size the most. I say draft Mara and maybe get Hardenstein from OKC. Just leave flopping and holding behind. There's plenty of guards.
Yeah, and Hartenstein, I feel like might not even be that bad if he gets on a different team. I mean, I feel like he's just been taken over by the Thunder aura, like the team, like whatever they're doing or teaching or preaching in that locker room. I feel like he's just been, kind of coerced into playing at that style now moving forward. So hopefully if he gets to another team, he will leave that in Oklahoma City and play a more classy style of basketball and a more, upfront kind of defense. Because he is, before he went to Oklahoma City, I talked about this the other night on the show. When he was playing for the Knicks, he was a top 2 net rated defensive big league wide. So and he's been top 2 when he plays. He misses games here and there, so he's not necessarily qualified. But this year he was 3rd in the NBA. I don't think he qualified because of games missed, but he was 3rd in net defensive rating for 80% of the year, behind only Wemby and Chet, and then it was Hartenstein and or Case and Wallace in the mix. So he's an elite defender, and I think he would fit really well in Atlanta. As for who they should draft, I'm not really up on the draft. I don't watch much college I don't watch.
Yeah, I can fill in. I got it. They are projected to take Ade Mora, the center from Michigan, that Wolfsbane pointed out. He's a junior, 7'3" height without shoes, 260 pounds with a 7'6" wingspan, standing reach 9'9". This looks to be the first Michigan guy off the board. They've got a couple other power forwards that are supposed to go possibly in the lottery in the first round as well. So it looks like they are slated to take him, to your point, Wolfsbane, and that he looks to be very promising.
Well, that would be a nice pickup then for them. That really would. Maybe they don't even need Hartenstein if they get him. We'll see how he looks in his rookie year and see, because Hartenstein might just activate that team option for roughly 28 mil and keep him next year, and then he'll hit free agency the following year. So you'll get a look at this Mara and see how he looks within your system there with the Hawks, and then maybe you go from there in free agency possibly the next season. All right. Kaluli is back in. Thank you very much for coming back another time here. I appreciate it. Gary, what's the question or comment this time?
On the Reese argument, where are them Skap highlights? You sure the gym is going to translate live?
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I could again, if Angel takes up my challenge and accepts, I will be video documenting like a daily journal or whatever blog about my training and my progress in getting ready for my Angel Reese matchup. So you'll have to wait to see the Skap highlights and footage until she accepts my challenge. So I don't want to put anything out before that. I want to make sure she's on board before I start dropping these kinds of highlights and maybe scaring her away, if you know what I'm talking about. And then Kaluli is back in again, back-to-back again. Thank you very much, Gary. What's this second one in a row from him?
You and Stephen A. Smith, one-on-one today. Who wins? Well, Stephen A. is in his mid-50s.
Yeah.
And he doesn't.
In basketball, I would think anything involving athleticism between me and Stephen A., I think I would likely win. I'm pretty confident in that. And I think I'm pretty confident I would beat Stephen A. in a debate as well. So there's really not much I don't think I wouldn't beat Stephen A. in at this point. We've got BZ6 in next. BZ, what's up? Another regular. Thank you very much. Gary, what's the question or comment from BZ?
when Bron played the Bulls, it was screaming for the ball at halftime, just a brick for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there's a lot that goes on in the career of LeBron James that you can easily make fun of. I know I do, and I enjoy doing it on a pretty semi-regular basis. I kind of wish I would have gotten on the platform way sooner. I didn't. I've been making fun of LeBron and calling him out and criticizing him and really just the double standards that he enjoys and appreciates from the boot-licking, jock-sniffing media. I've been highlighting and illuminating that stuff for basically 20 years. So I wish I wouldn't have waited till 3 years ago to start trying to build a platform of my own that I could get more visibility on my takes about it. But I'm gonna just make up for lost time and just keep going to the well as long as he's providing me with his content, like his ridiculous Mind the Game podcast with Steve Nash the other day. I couldn't help myself. I said when LeBron went out in the playoffs, I would do 2 videos on LeBron going out in the playoffs, and then that's it. I wouldn't talk about him till basically July when there's offseason news about him or his potential player movement. But I can't help myself. He's so insufferable, so ridiculously narcissistic, and laughably so, that I just simply I can't when he does something just so utterly insufferable and ridiculous like that Mind the Game shit, I just have to talk about it in some capacity. So I'll just keep doing it. Like I said, I hope he does go to Cleveland. I hope he goes east, because I am on the East Coast and these late night streams kill me. So I would love to stream every game after LeBron plays next year if he goes east. Can't do it if he stays in the West. But if he goes to Cleveland and like 80% of his games are like 8 o'clock or earlier on the East Coast, I'm definitely in for doing that. All right, next in, I welcome T Perfect. What's up, brother? T Perfect 7241. Shout out to you, T Perfect. We've talked before via email. I would love to do something. I'm just so exceedingly busy right now during the playoffs, but definitely work something out in June, maybe to potentially do something possibly. Gary, what does T Perfect have for us today?
Shout out to you, Skap. Been a while. Keep exposing these clowns. Loving it.
Yeah, I don't even know if this is a different T Perfect actually. So I wanted to check. So I'm talking about Travis, who I have taught, I think, and I did go on their show once, I want to say. But I know that this is a different T Perfect. So this is one that is typically on this platform and following us here. So am I confusing this overall? Let me know. T Perfect 7241. Come to me in the live chat. I'm looking at the live chat right now. Let me know that I'm not mixing you up here. But I will keep exposing.
Me. He says it's me.
It is. Okay, perfect. Oh, yeah. There it is. Okay, so good. Perfect. Okay, so I didn't mix you up. I will continue doing what I'm doing, T Perfect. And thank you for still doing what you're doing, which is to say tuning in, supporting me. Thank you very much. I do appreciate you. And I will probably never stop. Even when he retires, there will be less stuff that I do on him, but I'm sure inevitably there will still be, just like now, he's still doing things to humiliate himself. So I have to talk about it. I'm sure there will still be times where he will present moments for me to just go in on him once he retires. So I'll continue to do that. Next up, Will N is back in. Thank you, Will, and welcome into you. Gary, what's the question or comment from Will?
How much better would the Mavs be standings-wise if AD stayed healthy all season after the Lakers trade, Kyrie stayed healthy, both with Coop as a third option? We talked about this beginning of the year that the Mavericks were going to do really well this year if those two were healthy, but they weren't, so therefore they were terrible.
Right. And they then shipped out AD, obviously. And then they intentionally, I think, sidelined Kyrie. I think Kyrie could have come back, but they were tanking, trying to get as big of a, as high of a pick as they could in this very deep and well-respected draft. But I think, to your point or your question, Will, with Cooper Flag as good as he was, and he was as good as advertised, if not even better this year, if they had AD for like 65 games, even, let's just say, which is a lot for him, and if Kyrie came back around Christmas, which I was expecting him to come back around Christmas or January, I mean, I think the Mavericks would have been they would have at least been a play-in team. And I think they probably could have played their way into a playoff round. So I think they likely would have played against the Spurs or the Thunder in the 1-8 or 2-7. Now, obviously, they would have lost that series to either team, but those would have been much more compelling and competitive series, I think, than what we saw out of the Suns and the Portland Trailblazers. So now we'll never know because, well, Kyrie might be back, but AD is obviously in Washington now. But a good what if. I think they would have been a playoff team for sure, Will, to answer that question. All right, we've got Booge got that beam in next. Welcome back into you, my friend. Thank you very much. Gary, what's the question or comment from him this time?
What if Carmelo Anthony played his entire career with the Denver Nuggets?
Well, let's see exactly when Melo retired and exactly when he started declining. Wow. He played till 2021, 2022. Can you believe that? And he really started to decline, I would say. He was still kind of good until 2016, 2017. And then the decline set in. So his aged 20 or his age 32-ish year. I would say if they had him, they would not have been able to draft Nikola Jokic in 2014, 2015, but they still could have drafted Nikola Jokic because he was the 41st pick. So it's not like Denver being better or worse or whatever. It's not like that would have deterred Jokic from being available because every team in the NBA passed on Nikola Jokic. I don't think much changes for Carmelo Anthony, quite frankly. I think he ends with no NBA championship still. Probably around the same kind of point total kind of career. He's like top 10-ish in all-time NBA scoring. I want to say he's like around 10. He is 11. So he ended 11th and he was roughly 300 points behind Shaquille O'Neal. So a very good individual career. But, good scorer, good individual career, never won the MVP. The closest he got was third once. He got third once. And that is by far the closest he ever got. The next closest he got was 6, not even top 5. Couple All-NBA teams here and there. He was never All-NBA first team. Couple third team, a bunch of third teams, couple seconds, bunch of All-Stars. Same, pretty much the same. I don't think much of anything changes if Carmelo stays his entire career with the Denver Nuggets, quite frankly. Will N8664 back in again. Another hypothetical. Go ahead, Gary. What's this hypothetical?
If Zaza didn't injure Kawhi, would the Spurs have won the series against the Warriors and reached the finals?
I don't think so. I still say no. Gary, also, who is a Spurs fan, is shaking his head. I think, look, they were beating their ass in game 1. When Kawhi got hurt, that's the thing that makes everybody say, yo, they were up 20 or whatever when Kawhi got hurt. But I still, look, it's one game. I know I say game 1s are always very crucial, especially for the home teams, but I still think that team was so good. I still think more than likely the answer is no. The Spurs do not win the series and go to the finals. Go ahead, Gary.
The Warriors were rusty. They were off a long
Right.
layoff, and
Yep.
the Spurs just punched them in the mouth. The Spurs likely still would have won game one, and then the Warriors would have been like, okay, now we're going to play like the Warriors, and probably won. And it would have won in 5, maybe 6. That wasn't that the year. No, that was the year before. Never mind. I was going to say that was the year that they were the Warriors. Remember, I don't know if you remember this, Skap. I'm sure you do. 73-9 Warriors, which is insane, obviously. But the Spurs were only. Imagine being 73-9, and you're only 5 games up in the standings. The Spurs were like 67-15 or something like that. Now imagine going 67-15 and you're 5 games behind. Typically, most year, if you're 67-15, you're going to be way ahead of everyone else. So that was a really funny year, but that was 2016. Not sure what the Spurs were in 2017, but they weren't going to beat that loaded Warriors team, though, with Durant.
Yeah, again, Kawhi played in only that one game. And then, yeah, it was a 4-0. It was 113-111 final. And then they just blew them out the rest of the way. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Warriors won 67 that year. So they went from 73 wins to 67. So not as good in the regular season. Exponentially better in the playoffs, though. Exponentially better. Like, that team was just much, 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 much better. And that's the funny thing. Like, people always say LeBron beat the best team ever when he beat the 73-9 Warriors. Not even close. They weren't even the best Warriors team because they were much better the very next year when LeBron lost in 5 and then 4 in back-to-back years against the KD Warriors. So that 73, they won a lot of regular season games, but that team was, to me, highly flawed, especially into the playoffs, and very overrated by the time they reached the finals. All right. Light Pink Sunflower is in next. All right. What's up, Light Pink Sunflower? Welcome into you. Thanks for being here. Gary, what is the question or comment from them?
Are you going to collab with one of the guys at MJFB?
Well, the MJFB is no longer on the platform, unfortunately. They were removed, so unfortunately, I can't do that collabs with them anymore. And the people that are still on from that pairings or whatever, of course, AOH, Angry Old Hoopshead, and Sports and Fitness Rants, which is I won't even say his name on here. He neither of them, I'll just leave it at this. Neither of those guys are the biggest fans of mine. So probably not. I am willing to do something with either one of them, but I don't think they would take me up on that. So probably not. But I enjoyed my time on that, doing those collaborations, and I liked my time there, and I think fondly on my time doing it. Ruthless Raider 78 is up next. Go ahead, Gary, with Ruthless
You're
Raider.
going to read this one. This is for you.
Okay. Will exposing the fecal streak add years to your life? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I look very youthful, don't I? Me and LaFecal Streak are about the same age. So I think I look better than him for sure. I don't want to jinx myself, but as you can see, I have a full head of hair still, unlike him. Sorry, Gary. No shade on you.
Hold up. My head fits me. I look better like this than when I had hair.
Okay.
Like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan looked better.
Or Jason Statham.
Yeah, some people look good with bald heads.
Right.
Bruce Willis.
I am not one. Gary, I personally, my whole life, my mom's father passed away when I was very young. I was an infant when he passed away, so I never knew him. But I saw pictures. I knew what he looked like, obviously. And it's always been said, I don't know if it's true or not, but the old adage always has been like, if your mother's father is bald, you will be bald. And my mom's dad was bald. So my whole life, I have been dreading and just mortified of losing my hair my whole life. And thank goodness, knock on wood, everyone I personally know in life or have seen in life that lost their hair started balding when they were in their 20s, basically. Like mid 20s, late 20s, at the maybe early 30s at the absolute latest. I'm in my 40s now, and I still have a full, healthy head of hair. So I think I dodged that bullet because I would certainly not look better bald. I look way better with hair. I have a very small, weird-looking head, I think, if it's shaved. So I want no part of being bald. And my ears are a little bigger, so I feel like my ears would look even bigger than they are with no hair. So I don't even want to consider it. It's like nightmare fuel for me thinking about being bald. Next in, we've got BZ6 is back in again. What's up? Welcome back into you, BZ. Thank you for coming back with yet another comment. Gary, what is the comment from BZ?
Skap, remember when Bron was playing Kawhi and he was on the free throw line and Kawhi checked back in and Bron shook his head with fear? That sounds like LeBron.
I do. Like, it was like LeBron was like kind of had it rolling in that point in the game. And he looked over the substitution and he sees Kawhi and he's like he just was so frustrated and did look like afraid that because Kawhi was just kind of dogging him the whole series. So I do definitively remember that was in the 2014 series where the Spurs just blew the Heat off the floor and dusted LeBron all the way to Cleveland. That was LeBron's last series in a Miami Heat uniform. He, of course, went 4 years in Cleveland, then now 8 years in LA after that. All right, we've got Booge back in, or Boo. Booge got that beam back in. What is up, Boo? Thank you so much for your continued generosity, Gary. What is his most recent one now? Looks like another Spurs Warriors hypothetical. Go ahead.
Okay, if the Spurs did beat the Warriors in 2017, would they have beaten the Cavs in the finals? I think so. I think Kawhi would lock LeBron down.
Yeah, I think so too. It would have hinged on Kawhi being healthy, obviously, which he would have had to be if they would have beaten them. So, yeah, if Kawhi was healthy with that, because that Spurs team was a good, like, I think they were a 60-win team too that year. So,
I can check on that if you want to keep talking.
They were 61 and 21 that year was what the Spurs were. Kawhi was MVP 3, Depoy 3, All NBA 1, All NBA defense 1. So first team All NBA defense, first team All NBA, third team defensive player of the year, third team MVP, or third and MVP vote. So yeah, he was pretty great that year. They had LaMarcus Aldridge, who was a good player that season. Danny Green was All NBA defense 2 that year. So Tony Parker, who was older, he played only 63 games, but he was on that team. Pau Gasol, who was also older, but Manu was still on that team too. Pretty good team. I think that team, led by Kawhi Leonard, would, yes, have beaten the Cavs as well in the finals had they been able to beat the Warriors. Ruthless Raider 78 is in next. Go ahead, Gary, and read this latest one from Ruthless Raider.
Can Chet sleep in an extendable drinking straw?
Probably. Like I said, the dude is so slim, he turns sideways and you realistically can't see him. When a hefty wind gust comes along, he has to brace himself because he is a skeleton figure. So, yeah, he's got to do something in the offseason to bulk up. I can't believe I guess I can't believe, like, he is number 2 in several defensive metrics, elite defensive measurable metrics, behind only Victor Wembanyama. So he was number 2 in defensive player of the year this year, but both of those dudes. Victor is working on it. Victor is continuing to try to bulk up and gain some weight. Chet, I have not seen that similar kind of work ethic. At least it's not showing off. It's not showing up in the regular seasons from year to year when he comes back in, because he's as slender as ever. So he needs to hit the weights, quite frankly, when we get in to the summer, and he needs to add like at least 15 or 20 pounds going in to next year, in my estimation. All right, go ahead, Gary.
I was just going to ask, did you check out that photo I sent you from Wemby's rookie season to his third season? Does that give you any more confidence that over the next few years he can continue to gain, say, 4 to 5, 6 pounds per year of muscle over the next 2 to 3 years, to where he gets to 245, 250 in that range of more muscle? He's already up to 235. I think he was at I want to say he was at 210. So he's gained 25 pounds of muscle in 2 years. So does that give you any more confidence that maybe he can? Because we got into a debate on one of the streams, because you were saying, you didn't say that he wouldn't for fact gain it, but you were saying I was making a big assumption by assuming that he would. And the reason that I was thinking he would was based off the progress that he's already did. He's in a strict diet by the Spurs physicians. So that's why I'm like, well, he's only 22. And as you know, when you hit 25, 26, 27, your metabolism slows. So that's why in your mid-20s, a lot of guys get bigger, because the metabolism slows.
Yeah.
At the same time, go ahead.
No, yeah, I would say there's a chance, and I would say I like his progress a lot more. I don't think he gets to a point of muscularity like Giannis, because Giannis was a string bean when he came in too. But and he's gained a lot of muscle, but his probably frame is different, and
it's bigger, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say I'm definitely more confident that he at least gains a couple more, gets up to like 240, 245 maybe. Definitely more probable, and maybe even 250, who knows, than Chet, because I'm just not seeing Chet do it at all. Like, it's more likely Chet is like Durant and is just skinny as hell his whole career moving forward. And I don't know why these guys wouldn't want to, like Wemby obviously does want to bulk up, and he's working towards that. But Chet doesn't seem to have that same desire or tenacity and work ethic in terms of hitting the weights that Wembanyama has shown. All right, next in, we've got the legend Ric Flair is back in again. President of the United States comes in here. So from time to time, we get George Costanza in here. And now, obviously, Ric Flair has become a regular as well here in Skap Live After Dark. And it is always my honor and privilege to have the icon that is Mr. Ric Flair. So welcome into you, sir. Gary, what is the question or comment from him?
Not sure if you've been asked this in the past, but what's your take on Inside the NBA Now? 2 censored by ESPN. What's your favorite Inside the NBA moment?
Oh my gosh, there's almost too many to even count. I love that show over the years on TNT. It is, it's not the same now. It's not even on that much now. I don't enjoy it in the same way that I used to when it was on the Turner Broadcasting Networks, TNT most notably. And that's a shame, but ESPN ruins everything, so it's not a surprise. But I can't even pick just like one moment. There's just too many to count. Like, and it's because the dynamic of those guys is just so funny. I mean, I don't even want to just say like one or two things, because like there's so many iconic and great moments where it's just so funny. There was like, I remember one where like Anthony Davis was in a wheelchair for something, and Charles and Shaq were just absolutely dying, and it was just so funny. And like the dynamic between when Shaq came in, I think the dynamic between Charles and Shaq was really like the apex, or like the zenith, the golden era of insight. It was just Kenny and Charles and EJ for the longest time. And they would sometimes get like guests in and on and stuff. But when Shaq came on and became a regular, like those two are just so funny together some of the time. Some of the things that they've done through the years, like the clips are just so good and they live on in YouTube fame. And it's I sometimes will go back and watch certain clips of things, and it's just there's just so many good moments. But I love those guys and I love that show. And it is sad that it's been distorted in some way, and it's not as good now that it's on ESPN. But at least look, when Turner lost the rights to the games, at least it's been kept alive in some capacity. Though I wish that NBC would have been the one that kept it and brought it, or Amazon or whatever, and it wasn't ESPN. All right. Ruthless Raider 78 is in. Gary, do you want me to read this one or do you want it?
I think I'm gonna leave it to you since you love these references here.
Okay. Is LaShart Spackle one of the greatest leaders ever? Ruthless Raider 78, no. LaShart Spackle is not one of the greatest leaders ever, not in my estimation. The guy blames his teammates for everything that goes wrong. He throws every teammate under the bus that he has to. He trades half of his teammates away. He's one of the worst teammates ever, if you ask me. But that's just one of the more ridiculous narratives that LeBron is like this great all-time teammate. Unequivocally, I reject that premise, and I push back on it often. And no, I don't think, in fact, not only is he not a good teammate, I would say he is just outright a bad teammate. All right, Boo's Got That Beam is back in again, just single-handedly keeping me on tonight. Though we've got a couple more comments that have come in as well that I'll get to after this one. But what's the most recent one from Booge here, Gary?
What if LeBron? Oh no! What if LeBron? I thought at first he's saying, "What if you replace Adam Silver?" He's saying, "What if LeBron replaced Adam Silver as an NBA commissioner after he retires?" That would be the shut down the NBA. We're not watching it anymore. It would be so horrific.
So I know Adam Silver is a lawyer. I'm pretty certain David Stern was also a lawyer. I'm just looking up his quick overview. JD, yes, Columbia Law School. So both the last two NBA commissioners that have been the NBA commissioners over the last, 40 years now have both had law degrees and were, I believe, practicing lawyers at some stage of their career before becoming the NBA commissioner. So I do not think that a guy that hasn't even gone to college, let alone has even a college diploma, in LeBron James, no matter what he did as his time as an NBA player, I do not think he has a snowball's chance in hell, as the saying goes, of becoming the NBA commissioner. So it's not going to happen. What if it did happen? Well, the NBA would be plunged right when we're trying to finally fight our way out of the dark era that LeBron created as a player in 2010. It's taken us damn near 15 years to fight our way back into the light. We finally get to that point where we've done it. And wouldn't it be ironic if LeBron then retires from playing and becomes a commissioner to drive us back into another dark era of basketball right when we're finally on the precipice of getting out? So that's what would happen, but it's not going to happen. Adam Silver is terrible enough, and he's probably not going anywhere anytime soon, unfortunately. But LeBron does not, like I said, not a snowball's chance in hell of becoming the commish of the NBA.
He'd probably do away with the playoffs. Who started this ring culture? Didn't he just give out like participation trophies? Everybody would get a trophy. We don't want to shame some of these guys. We want to honor all of our players. No more championships. That way, other guys like Wemby can't surpass him. Yeah,
He would
it would
probably
be
also,
horrific.
Gary, make the regular season 60 games moving forward. So no one can ever eclipse his points record as well. So like that would likely be one of his first things whenever he would take command of the office. Next in, we've got Stefan Piscano. Welcome in, my friend. As always, got to give him the shout out. Has been one of our most generous benefactors throughout my time here on this channel and on these live streams in particular, but definitely has been along from the beginning. Always comments on the videos as well. Thank you, my friend. Shout out to Vacation Wealth Partners as well. Gary, what is the question or comment from Stefan tonight?
If me and Gary and yourself got in an Anchorman style street fight with Chet Holmgren, SGA, and Alex Caruso, who wins and why?
Well, Chet is or Caruso is a scrapper, so I wouldn't necessarily want to see him in the mix. I don't know. It's a close battle because Shea would flop instantly. Like whenever anything, you could throw like a trident or whatever, like they did in that Anchorman street fight. And if it came within 7 feet of Shea, he would flop to the ground and be rolling around for the rest of the battle. Chet, like I said, I could cough and he would blow over. But then Caruso is a scrapper and I'm sure a dirty fighter. So he alone would give maybe me, the three of us, all we could handle. Now, if you replace Caruso with Jared McCain, I would be very confident in our chances, Stefan, in me, you, and Gary's chances, because McCain would be probably would have some kind of a skirt on more than likely and a sports bra, and his nails would be painted, and he would probably be TikTok dancing in the background during the fight. So I would be very, very confident in our chances if that were the case. But if it's just Caruso, still probably 3-on-1, we could take Caruso because that's what it would devolve into. So I would say us, Steph, and me, you, and Gary. I would like, and like I said, I don't know. Gary is a little bit on the smaller side, but still a scrapper. I think Gary would be a scrap. Gary, did you like wrestle? I want to say as well. Were you? No, okay, but. Gary strikes me as like he would have Wolverine berserker rage in a fight, and he would still add a lot to in the context of a battle. And Stefan, just looking at you and your t-shirt there in the avatar, you look like a bulkier gentleman. So I think we would have a chance for sure. Good question, Stefan. And thank you obviously for your continued support for us. All right, we've got BZ6 is in again. What's up, BZ, and welcome in. Gary, what is this latest one from them?
Will you make a video on this off-season trades?
Definitely. I'll be busy. I will be on. I do this all year long. So like when the finals end, I will then shift to off-season things. And the first week of July is a big time for me because that is when the moratorium on free agency and stuff is going. And there you hear about news of players signing, and they can't, until the moratorium's lifted, they can't officially execute those contracts, but we start learning about different deals. And there's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on in that first week or two of July. Giannis will be traded probably, if not before. And then I'll be dealing with that during the draft. So I'll be doing a lot of draft coverage in mid to late June. Then Giannis trade stuff. I'll be on Giannis trade watch. Jamal Murray, maybe trade watch. Where's LeBron James going? Watch. So I'll have a lot of stuff still going on basically through July. Then August and September, my audience and my viewership and stuff kind of splinters a bit for those 2 months before basketball gets back in October. But I do like to talk football, so I'll probably be doing NFL stuff more during that span of time. So yes, BZ, please make sure you stay tuned throughout the offseason as well, because the answer is yes, I will be doing those things. Let me just jump this next question real quick. from Ruthless Raider. I'll come back to Ruthless Raider. Oh, wait, actually, it's just a joke question. I thought it was an actual Gladiator 3 question. Will you watch Gladiator 3 starring Latertius Maximus? No, I won't be watching that. Gladiator, the first Gladiator, is one of my 10 favorite movies ever. It's one of my all-time favorites. I did not go into theaters. I used to go to the movie theaters every week in the summer for like from May till like September. I went once a week to the movie theaters and I would see whatever movie was opening, big movie was opening. Then over the like Christmas-ish area where they put the other like the two blockbuster times of the year is like the summer and then Christmas. So I then would go over Christmas. I go to the movies like once or twice a week for a month or two. I went to the theaters probably 50 times a year, like when I was growing up. Now I go like 2 times, 3 times maybe. I'm trying to think the last time I went to a movie. I loved it. I loved the movie.
Top Gun?
No.
Mission Impossible?
No, it was very recent. It was Ryan Gosling's space movie.
Hail Mary?
Project Hail Mary. It was a terrific film. It was terrific. If you guys have not seen it and you fancy going to the movie theaters like I once did, I looked for every reason I could to find a reason to go. I love Ryan Gosling. And I heard very good things about the film. It was a book that had an immense popularity and following. They built the sets. There's no green screen backdrops in it. So it's a movie that 100% takes place in space, and there is no green screen background. They built every set out. They built most of the VFX post-production was just removing wiring. So like Ryan Gosling was floating around on wires and stuff through most of it. And they had to visually remove those in post-production. But very limited post-production on that movie. It was a beautiful film. Ryan Gosling was terrific. He acted with a puppet through basically 95% of the movie. Go see it if you didn't see it. And then I'm looking forward to going to the theaters now to see In the Gray, which is a Guy Ritchie film. Love Guy Ritchie's work. And it's starring Jake Gyllenhaal, who I love, and Henry Cavill, who I love. So I'm going to see that movie. Anyway, all of this to say, Gladiator 1 was one of my 10 favorite movies I ever saw. Did not even go to theaters to see the second film. I tried watching it months after it came out, and it was horrendous. I made it 10 minutes into the film and shut it off. So I thought this was going to be a legitimate Gladiator 3 question. So I wanted to skip it and come back, but then I still spent more time talking about it because I love the movie Gladiator so much. But if there is a third Gladiator, I will certainly not see it based on how putrid the first 10 to 15 minutes of Gladiator 2 was. All right, Booge is in next. Booge got that beam. Gary, he's saying that it's time for the Nuggets to clean house. Nobody is safe except Jokic.
Right.
I wish Jokic wasn't even safe. Like, I want Jokic to get traded. That is the closest, the easiest path for Jokic back to championship contention is getting himself traded. But he will never demand a trade. They will never trade him because he's just too valuable. He brings too many people, too many season ticket holders in. But I agree with you. They got to blow everything else up. But not every – look, I want Cam Johnson back. I want Peyton Watson back. And that's pretty much it. I would love to get rid of Christian Brown. Likely they won't be able to because he stinks, and that contract is abysmal. So I would say he's got to be back too. But ideally, if you could drop Gordon, Jamal Murray, and Christian Brown – they will be exponentially better for it. Doesn't matter what or who they bring in place. If they could just get, it will be addition by subtraction. And it's no disrespect to Aaron Gordon because he is a great player. He is a great teammate, and he really is extraordinarily valuable to that Nuggets team. Unfortunately, he's just not available. He missed 40 plus games this regular season, wasn't there in the playoffs either. And that's 2 years in a row in the playoffs that his health has just failed them. So he's making too much, and they are too reliant on him for at this point with how injury prone he's been now for the last 2 playoffs. So and Jamal Murray just stinks. So get rid of those 2 and get rid of Christian Brown because damn it, he stinks too. And Ruthless Raider 78 back in. Will La Fudge Floater be an Avengers Broomsday? That's a good one. Ruthless Raider he just cracks me up. He just gets my juvenile sense of humor. Will La Fudge Floater be an Avengers Broomsday? I believe that yes, he will be. That's a great. He will probably be the lead name. He will be the top billing in that. He will be the top guy when the credits roll. La Fudge Floater will be the top billed actor in Broomsday, coming to an NBA arena near you sometime next May. So make sure you tune in wherever he might be playing, in whatever NBA jersey he might be having on. Yes, Broomsday coming sometime next May. Breezy 6 is in next. Gary, or I should say again, Gary, what is this latest one from Breezy 6?
I really wish the Nuggets grabbed OG and Smart.
You and me both. Would have loved to have both of them on in a Nuggets jersey. They really do just need some perimeter defense and ideally a rim defender to kind of play off of Nikola Jokic. But even in lieu of that, just get perimeter defenders and stoppers and point of attack guys, and that alone will help the Nikola Jokic rim defense situation. So what they got to have one of them. You either bring in a rim defender that plays with Jokic, or you upgrade your perimeter defense. I would like to have both of those things be true. But one of them certainly has to happen this summer, or they're going to just have no shot again. All right, Boo's got that beam back in again, just firing them off back and forth, back and forth. Thank you, Boo. I appreciate you. Gary, what is the question or comment this time?
Do you think the 2024 Team USA basketball team is the team that LeBron wishes he had in the regular seasons? He'd probably still lose.
Probably, yeah. I mean, keep in mind, I did a video. It actually is another one of my more favorite videos called The Mercenary King. Many of my drops that I use over and over again comes from my edit on that video, The Mercenary King. So you can go check that out. It's about LeBron's super team building, but more to the point, it's about Dwayne Wade talking about in a podcast about how they were recruiting Chris Paul the year after they lost to the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 with Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh. They were trying to bring on Chris Paul as well. And they actually had a team call with Chris Paul talking about logistically how they can get him to come in and how they could coalesce with each other, how they could share the ball. And then it was ultimately the fact that Dwayne Wade and Chris Paul couldn't decide who would wear number 3, which is what blew up that potential pairing, believe it or not. But it's an interesting podcast drop by Dwayne Wade, and one of my more favorite videos that I made. So you can check out that one if you wish. Well, we're approaching the 3-hour mark now here, which, Gary, I really did think I was aiming for 90. Every night I come on here aiming for 90 to 2 hours. That's my goal. Typically it doesn't happen. Tonight I really thought, crap game, Saturday night, we're going to make it. It's only going to be 90 minutes, 2 hours. Still went to nearly the 3-hour mark. Still got 350 of you guys in here. Very thankful for another great night. Booge is back in though. So let's see what he's got. Imagine the video you would have made about LeBron, Curry, and Team USA if they, oh my gosh, you're telling me. I was already writing. Look, Serbia was up all game in that game. All game. that it was a wire-to-wire lead for Serbia, basically. They were dominating that team. There was, I talk about this often, there's like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes left in the game, and Serbia was up 7 still, and they were going to win. They were going to beat Team USA. LeBron's would have gotten another bronze, and Jokic would have went on to get a gold with like 2 other NBA role players on his team and a bunch of non-NBA guys. But it was a weird play. There was a screening foul. Durant shot a 3 simultaneously to the screen foul. He made the 3. International FIBA rules in that instance give the U.S. a free throw and possession of the ball as well. And the 3 counted. So they made the free throw to make it a 4-point game. And then, to make it a 3-point game. And then Curry hit a 3. So it went from a 7-point game, a 7-point lead for Serbia with like 2.5 minutes to go to a tie game. And then Serbia just didn't have enough to hold off that insane super team with literally 1 or 2 other NBA role players other than Jokic. So, but it was so close. Like Serbia was right there to take that. And the video would have been crazy. Trust me. If Jokic beat that USA team, the video would have been off the charts that I would have produced if that had happened. Ruthless Raider 78 back in. Will LeShart Pebbles bring Broomy Jr. to Cleveland? I believe yes. If LeBron takes his talents back home to where it all started, I think somehow, some way he sets it up with the Lakers and the Cavs that Broomy Jr. will also be taking his talents as well, whatever talents those are, also to Cleveland with Pops. I think the answer yes to that. But guys, as I was saying, nearly 3-hour mark. Yes, I was talking about that just a few minutes ago because I'm trying to get off here. I have a relatively early night. It will be before 3 a.m. finally that I get off one of these. It's only 1:52 a.m. right now where Gary and I are coming from. So I actually could get a couple extra hours of sleep tomorrow because I am wiped. I certainly need those extra hours of sleep. So I think I'm going to say goodnight to all of you guys now at this point, at the nearly 3-hour mark. It was another fun night hanging out with you guys. Really enjoying my time on here with you guys. Gary, thank you very much, as always, for your efforts and work tonight with us. And we will be definitively on tomorrow night. So that will be after the Spurs. I think the game is at 8:30. So around 11 o'clock Eastern time in the U.S. on our watch is when you can start looking for us to pop on. We'll talk about that game, break it down. Hold on, Ruthless Raiders got something else. Appreciate you, fellas. Have a good one. You too, Ruthless Raider, and you too, everybody else on the chat. Have a great night tonight, a great day tomorrow, and we will see you guys same YouTube time, same YouTube channel tomorrow after